Bought my hex from the fucking
Young folks, you tripping on them motherfucker.
Richard Hart. Richard Hart.
Bought my hex from the fucking start. .1 every day we mark. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the hex, he is moving. Looking at why they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pull chains out and they'll get me a check. He's gas up and got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex, I been eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this PULSECHAIN lingo. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this PULSECHAIN lingo. Swerving the ring like a
What's up, guys? GRC here. You guys don't know who you're messing with. When I'm motivated, I destroy. I'm here with my co-host.
What's
Sam.
up? What's
Sam,
up?
what do we got going on today, my brother?
So I have something super interesting that is going to be a little bit controversial. There's stuff that Richard Hart said that is inaccurate. It is not accurate. So I want to bring that up in regards to his point related to censorship. That is 100% false. And we're going to talk about that. But we're also going to talk about Richard Hart mentioned that this is probably coming to fruition in terms of PulseChain and PulseX in the next 30 days. So if you guys are here to want to experience that, that's what we're going to talk about. Thank you for stopping by. If you want to support, take a second, jump over to Twitter, because we'll get into the meat of this in a second. Take a second, jump over to Twitter, share this out so we can impact the community in a positive way. I think a lot of people probably saw what happened today as not necessarily a fruitful exercise of people's time. When you're walking into a brick wall, like repeatedly, like I think there's probably more intelligent ways to spend one's time. So I want to hear what GRC, what did you think?
You need to do some interviewing on me about this stuff too, because guys, remember, I'm a Hexican through and through. You know, I mean, I'm not some crazy fuck. I'm just a normal guy and I just like Hex. Really, that's it. But I know the community. I know the social bias that bonds the community. And there is a little social bias, but of course, this is life. That's how life is. And Sam, you're the first one that would understand that. Psychology and human emotion, it's a part of this thing. We can't count it out, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
What do you think? Let's jump back and forth. What do you think, Sam? What do you want to ask me? What is your biggest confusion as someone like that? Maybe I wouldn't. There's a lot of things on there that I've heard him say a million times, and maybe I didn't catch.
So it did seem like, because I haven't seen all the content out there that you have. Well, first of all, let's let people continue to come in for a second, and I took some notes. I took a bunch of notes here, but let's say hi to the chat. Why don't you shout some people out in the chat here and recognize some awesome support over in the chat here.
We just want to be honest and transparent. That is our shtick. That's always been our shtick. We don't, if it's bodybuilding, we do it. If it's pharmacology, we do it. If it's cryptocurrency, we do it. This is our style as human beings, as we've grown up, as we've developed in life. And I think we've both done a pretty good job as far as mental health and physical health. This is just that. Like, we got to, this is just, I don't remember what I was saying, but fucking let's go. What do we got? Oh, yeah, let's talk to the chat real quick. Let's talk to the chat real quick, guys. Sorry for being so bullish.
Bullish to the house.
Bullish is the absolute animal. If you're not following him on Twitter, F you. Valiant Brand. one of the biggest Hex supporters. This dude goes to every stream. He's retired. He's 26 or 5. I don't remember, but he's one of my best friends, and I call him all the time. And that is a man right there. And Brand, if you want to come on, message me at some point. We'll have you on because he is a day one Mexican. He knows all.
Yeah, but those
and
are
he's
crazy.
fair, and he's transparent, and he's honest. And he talks shit to people who are not honest. He always does.
Oh, hey, Billy Bob, right here. Let's go recognize some other people, but Billy Bob, we will get to that. So he was incorrect. We're going to definitely talk about that because I noticed that, and I know that some people, there's a lot of talk about sucking people's D's right in that stream, and there's one of those things that was straight up incorrect about censorship. But we'll get to that in just a minute. But that's what the preview is in terms of like what's going on. Hex Orca. What's up? Hex Orca in the house. Who else is in here? Chad. What's good, brother? Oh, good to see you. We also have Pestel C, Justin, Crypto Roof Pump. Hey, what's good, brother? Lots of bickering, he says, between RH, giving the intelligence. Interesting.
Well, that's all it always is with that. Shell for Freedom. Hey, Crypto Compassion. Thanks for stopping by. I like your name. And I like your symbol. And I like that you're in here, and I don't think I've ever seen you in here, so smash that like, hit the subscribe, come back. I'm here live every single day. PDC, another first-timer. This is what happens when you switch up the time. You get all new kinds of people. Oh, wow. Let's do this real quick. Ooh, let me do this one real quick. Okay, side tangent. I have 3 bottles of 250 Trend / Test E, 1,000 milliliters, 500 Hex, and they're yours. Put the 40-plus pounds on my bench in 2 months, and I made a huge asshole my wife, and I hate sleeping on the couch. I don't know what you're talking about.
The trend.
He's saying that yes, of course, if you do Trend, you will go nuts. And if you do little bit, you won't, I'm sure. But if you do what they suggest, you will go nuts.
That's why his wife hates him.
Hex Orca. Do not do steroids or any injectable or oral steroids. Of course, we are not doctors, and we do not recommend you do anything that could harm your health. And we are not financial advisors. Just as I say both of those things, we are not financial advisors. We're freedom fighters, which is way better than financial advising because they're a bunch of pussies.
Yes. So I want to get your take.
Yes.
I want to get your take on so pros. What are some of the positive things that you saw today?
Well, this is what we look for as Hexicans, or this is what I look for as Hexicans. There was 500 people. RH live stream, there was 4,000 people watching. If RH was alone, there would have been 4,000 people watching. There was 4,500 people watching. So there was 500 users that may have never had exposure to RH ever. That's what we're looking for. That's what Richard's looking for. He's saying, if I can just do a couple hours, because if Richard knows the people that are attracted to him, they see through bullshit, at least most of it. Like a lot of it is hearsay, but like when you're getting down to like brass tacks, like RH knows what's going on, and he will let you know that he knows what's going on. It's just, there's some people in there that had converted during the show. There are people in there that definitely converted to Hexicans during the show. That is why I thought it was done. That was the point.
Do you think, and I don't know what the right answer is. Everybody's going to have a different point of view. Do you think that going into things like that are more valuable than going into other environments, right? Like there's other people.
Yes, because the buy wall's gone, right? Like the buy wall, because Bitcoiners are about to get wrecked, dude. Like, he's saving people in really, in a way, everyone that he could get away from Bitcoin and maybe to look into PulseChain and PulseX, you could outdo your gains for 10 years in like maybe a good afternoon. And that's kind of where he's going, because they're so maximalist, because they think that should be the only money, because they're just that clueless about business.
I really didn't realize there was people who thought that way. I didn't.
They don't believe it, Sam. That's just their cause they're fighting for.
But it's so like closed. It's so closed-minded. Like at least with whatever that fellow's name was, like I don't know what his name was, but he seemed very, very closed to.
Well, he got called an idiot for 30 minutes straight by RH too. Like RH is embarrassing. If RH doesn't like you, he wants to embarrass you because he wants you to know that you need to study harder. He wants you to know that you're not on his level, because It's true. He just have done a lot more than most people, and these people come at him half-assed like he wasn't mining Bitcoin at 50 cents. Like he's like, dude, I've been here the whole time. You know what I mean? It's like if a new kid came in the gym and he was kind of ripped, but he's only been working out for a year. You're like, yeah, you're pretty ripped, dude, but you don't know what it takes. You don't know what it takes to go long term till you're 40.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same sentiment. I thought, yeah, go on, ask another question potentially.
What were what do you think was a negative that you what do you think was a negative?
His ego gets in the way when he's yapping at people because everything he says is true. Everything he says is pretty much true. Not everything, but like, you know what I mean? Like he's saying all the stuff that's true. This chart go up, that chart went down this year, that year, my product did this, your product did that. He lays it out like that. But at the same time, his ego gets in the way because he is so. The only reason plebs don't like him is because he is everything that plebs hate. That's why plebs don't like me. Because I'm everything they hate. A workout guy who thinks about his image. Well, I don't even care about my image anymore, but in general, thinks about his image, thinks about his nutrition, very critical of other people, extremely critical of other people if they're around me, and rather OCD. Like it's just like everyone's different. 80-20 though. You know the 80-20 rule. You take 80% of what you like about someone and 20%, you're never going to like 20% of everyone.
What were your thoughts on that? So right at the beginning, and I literally earlier today, we were chatting, but after we went live, and I'm like, hey, what happens when somebody's coming to closer finishing up a project? If you're listening in the chat and you are working on something for your business or at your job, and this is a project that maybe takes you several weeks or several months to accomplish, when you are balls deep in that project, some of the peripheral things are not as important as the thing that's directly in front of you, like moving the project forward. Towards the end portion of that, when it is about to go live, you see the person more. We've seen Richard Hart go live on Twitter the other day and on YouTube twice in the past week. All these three things last week, and there was a almost dead silence for the past 2 months or something like that.
Hey guys, share that tweet I just put down. Share that tweet if you don't mind, if you would like to support me, just because that's the one in my pinned.
Yes. So we've seen this. Like I pointed this out earlier. I was like, he's showing up a lot more. What you should do right before it's going to show up, you need to get more marketing. You need to have more eyeballs to grab more attention. So we saw this earlier today, and then literally he mentions that it's more than likely going live in the next month. The main net is going to be going live in the next month. This is his actions are confirming this. Like,
yeah, I'm not saying it won't go live in the next month, but I'm saying the actions are just the actions. The real action you have to look for is people pulling liquidity. Because when people listen, and you might know this, but let's refresh. You know, the central exchanges are not getting their copy of their onto the Pulse chain, right? You know that, right?
Well, no, but didn't he say that they actually are going to get it because it was more complicated than what he perceived to be? And the developer's like, yeah, hey, bro, we can't actually do that. It's super complicated. So instead of giving like OA people who hold Ethereum Pulse, right? Why don't we just dilute them by the 1.2x or whatever, right? So they're just getting a substantial less amount of it. From my understanding, it could be wrong, but they're just getting so much less of it. But I mean, you guys have been on board for a while, right? How has he done a lot of this kind of thing in the past? Right? I don't know because I haven't been on.
It's just like the streaming habits of Richard. Why does he keep doing that? Wait, why does he keep doing that?
I don't know. Was that you who clicked me up to the front?
Oh shit, no, it was my bad. I thought I clicked something. Anyway, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
What has this happened before?
Oh, I just don't think that this is I mean, yes, software, dude. Software, you can delay software in one day, you don't know what's gonna happen to the next. That's what everyone dev says. They all say the same thing. Something can come up. That's it.
So from
But he might know more than us about what could come up, so he could have a better idea because they were saying 2 months 6 months ago.
Okay, I'm not aware of this. Okay,
Oh yeah, so this was supposed to launch forever ago, as in like maybe beginning of the year.
Okay, so there's not as much weight in terms.
But Richard said the whole way, like, this is fucking a lot of shit, guys. Like, but he never stopped streaming. He never stopped telling us, like, the code, the updates, play with the test net. Guys, all you're doing is getting more time with the test net. Spend time on the test net. I'm telling you it's important, because it is. Because I'm the exact guy they make test nets for. Literally. There's a lot of guys that maybe wouldn't need it, but when I click through that shit, it's hard when you start. Even on the new shit, it's not that easy. I don't care what anyone says. It took me like 2 hours to get like moving, bridge into ETH, doing the whole thing. And I still will go on there and screw up again. So
correct.
If you want to be big baller status, you got to do big baller studying. And that's what me and Sam will never let an opportunity pass that we're not prepared for. I mean, we're going to keep working, obviously.
Oh, forever. I don't think there's ever a point. I thought that was interesting, but now that you're mentioning, because I'm not aware of the context of history, right? So if this has been saying this, it should be in about 2 months, it should be about 2 months. Like if that's been the perpetual story, it's like that's like the Elon story, right? Like, hey, this is when this is going to happen. And then that doesn't happen. It happens a quarter or 2 quarters or 3 quarters or 4 quarters later, right? I don't think that's the case here, but that does definitely give it context and reduces the weight of it actually going live in 30 days, right? Because if he's been saying that for a while and nothing's actually happened, the only thing, what's good, Sandy? The only thing that I think gives more credence to this is that I did see, I think it was him mention that PulseX is basically done. PulseChain is basically done. And the only thing that they're working on now is finishing up the AMM ratio fixer bot. I think that's probably a smaller problem.
I don't know, dude. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, everyone says different things. But at the end of the day, none of us know software. We just
correct.
We just don't. Yes. So that's where I don't infer, right? Like I stopped the line there because then you go down an imaginary rabbit hole of imaginaries. That literally there could be a guy in a room like they have no fucking clue what they're talking. You know, that's exactly what they would say because there's just little minute nuance to everything you do. Like they might have to sharpen up the room before they press the button. What if the room's dirty and they're like, okay, we got to make sure we clean this whole place and then we'll do the thing. So like you never know. It could be it's because these are humans. These are human beings.
Yes.
Living, breathing, greedy, sad, happy.
Well, one of the interesting things for myself that I've like.
We'll grab a water. I'm listening that I can hear you.
Yep. One of the things that I've grown more or have created more affinity within myself as I've dove more into crypto, but also this podcast that I'm listening to that's all tech related, is that I want to create a software product or something along those lines. Creating something like that from here, like just having the idea and then hiring engineers and developers to build that into something that is actually working and that people can use. Like that seems like a ton of fun, right? Creating like an actual product, right? Creating things like this is dope, right? It's cool, it's awesome. But there's a different scalability to creating products like this and selling them versus creating software and selling software. It's completely different. Thank you, Sequoia. Appreciate the like and the share. Thank you for your support earlier today. But creating a software product, oh man, that seems like so much fun. And
hold on real quick. We have the nicest chat mention ever. PDC, we all need a bridge from nerd to alpha male. I can't believe it's taken me so long to find you guys, and I have been with RH since 2016. The reason you haven't found us is because we've only been doing this for 30 days as far as live.
We can't see you.
Fuck me.
We're good. What is it, pasty?
You like my new angle, by the way? I switched up the angle in the room.
Yeah, no, I like it. You get to see there's a little more clarity, it feels like.
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking too, because I can back up a little bit. All right, and then we got Shell for Freedom with the share. Thank you so much, Shell.
You get a wrench.
For always supporting the community and everyone's chat. Blaine one, not sure if I've ever seen you, Blaine one. Yes, Richard Art says software is hard. Sandy B, thank you so much. David, what's up, guys? Thanks for what you do. Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. I guess. I mean,
What are you?
what's up? What up, man? How you doing? Thanks for all you do, because he does. Not many people do more than Gym Rat, and K4K does more than Gym Rat. I mean, he does a lot. I can tell. He's a busy body. I'd love to get with K4K sometime and talk to him just to pick his brain. K4K, please, if you were willing to come on here at any point, just hit me with a little DM. I'll send you a link anytime. Sandy Beach, alpha females too. Yes, Sandy B, you are an alpha female. Justin, one of my biggest supporters, thank you so much. Guys, again, on this channel, our main priority is to be as transparent as possible.
Is everyone on this stream ripped? It looks good. Yes. We all fell in. So one of the things that I noticed is I have a different type of communication, but I'm not used to debating in that sense, because it's debating in my mind is kind of like butting heads versus like actually coming to a better future. Where
there's but it's already in stone. The Bitcoin maxis are Bitcoin maxis, dude. Like, they're getting outperformed by millions of percent and they don't care. That's their whole thing. It's like they don't care. You could show them a chart that said this person made $1 billion, this person made 100, and they would say, I don't care. That's their point. It's
so, but if you understand what island I live on, metaphorically speaking, in terms of the stories that I fucking tell myself of these Bitcoin maxis, right? Like, you have to understand the language specifically that they use and the stories that they create in their mind, because all the things that we believe to be true or not true are just fucking made up stories that we either created ourselves or we heard from somebody else and chose to believe that they're accurate, right? And so in this dialogue, right, I can't even call it a dialogue, right? But I think that they're just talking about similar things, but from like, if you don't understand where the other person is, like, so right,
Richard Hart was a Bitcoin maxi, one of the most profound Bitcoin maximalists that there were. So he changed his worldview as things got better.
Going, yes, I agree, right? But like this dude, the other dude that was on it, I don't even know his name, right? But the dude on there, if I was to talk to that fella, I would ask him what his thing is, because once I understand his center point, that's how I lead him astray.
What do you mean center
point?
Like
the story of the most important thing to him.
Dude, they don't believe what they're saying. They don't. No, dude, they don't.
Is it constantly shifting? Is like they're
they just are. They're just in it to be in it, dude. You know how most people are. We're here because we love this more than anything in the world. That's why we're here. Most people just, they're moving along life. They don't have too much confidence. They just want to make it. We have a little bit more meaning within what we're delivering, but I don't think that's necessarily the truth for most people. I think these people are just talky. Because guess what? I meet people all day long in real life, and guess what they are? Talky. Hard to find a doer, and they don't just pop up online all day long. They're few and far between, guys. They're few and far between. I'm not talking, I don't care what Hexicans, Bitcoinikins, Ethereum maxis, Shibi, Doge, they're smart dudes at the top of there, and they're few and far between. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't listen to anyone. I don't. Other than like the people I respect, I will have open dialogue with. And that's about as far as I'll go as listening. And that's the way it should be.
I want to talk about the max censorship, because that's what I like spewed at the beginning. So that was a statement, and I know that max censorship is like a way to polarize people or sensationalize what is actually going on. And I don't know if this is like an actual belief that he says, but that is just not accurate at all. I think when you put max censorship into perspective, look back 35 years ago when 7 fucking white dudes controlled all the media of what was shoved down your fucking throat and into your eyes and into your ears. The idea that today is maximum censorship because we see certain people getting deplatformed, we see idiotic shit from the left, and we see like cancer culture. Yes, that is accurate, and it's worse today than it was, say, maybe 3 years ago. Correct. I agree with that. But the idea that today is maximum censorship, yeah, you got to put that into relative, right? You relative to 3 years ago, yes. Relative to 30 years ago, fuck no. There were 7 white dudes that controlled all the media in terms of radio production, all television production, all radio. Like, it was completely different ballgame. You didn't have a voice. You couldn't impact 44 people on YouTube. You couldn't put this content out and get 20,000 people to watch your content over the last 45 days. The idea that it's max censorship today is just fake. It's not true at all.
Well, it's the same argument people have about violence. They say this is the most violent time in the world. This is the safest time in the actual world to live in the United States by a mile. Every year that goes by, more safe.
Correct.
Because less people die in car accidents, less people die because of illness, less people, more safe overall by life expectancy due to accident. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. But people are like, it's such a scary time. Is it really? Or are you just bugging out because you're a fucking nerd?
People who think it's a scary time probably actually pay attention to the news and the trash.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've never even turned on that garbage. And if anyone you know turns it on, don't speak with them anymore unless they're your family. And then speak to them still, I guess.
Yeah. So Hexwork asked a question here. Honestly, how the fuck do we elect anybody to any meaningful public office without having any public access to seeing how they dance in rave settings? I'm not sure what the last part of that means, but I have literally been advocating this since I was in grad school, 2011, so 10, 12 years ago, right? The idea that we elect people to public office and we don't get transparency about what is going on when we supposedly pay the bills is absurd. Absolutely absurd. You want to raise money by going IPO with your company. You know what the SEC requires? Transparency. You know what the SEC has continued to require and increase the amount of over the last several decades? And this is like 7+ decades, right? Because I don't remember when the SEC was, but it was in like 1933 or something, or like maybe 1960, whatever the point of it is, right? The SEC has required increased transparency from public companies. We have this increasing gauge of transparency in the public markets when it comes to finance, and yet that is not how our government works. They want to obfuscate and just hide more information from what is going on. So like, I don't know, but I know that I am part of the problem, and I know that you are part of the problem because we have not taken enough fucking action in our lives to impact these things in a positive way. How many times have we sat around not doing enough to move the ball forwards? This is my fault. Because I've seen this coming, you have seen this coming, and we haven't taken the action to start and move the ball forward. We could have gotten involved in politics. We could have pushed it in other things, in other ways.
But you can only do it
in the right direction.
At a certain age, you know, like it does take awareness, and then awareness happens for everyone at different ages. But yeah, I'm taking action to change the world every day. That's how I feel. I do feel that way. It has nothing to do with. It's not exactly about Richard Hart. It's not exactly about Hex. It's not exactly about crypto. It's about being the most impactful human being I can potentially be for the positive, because I'm already a positive person. I don't need to really work on that anymore. All I need to do is project my message, because that's what I've decided to do. And why am I doing it? Because I don't believe that the right message is getting sent. I do not believe it. I don't. I feel as if the wrong message is getting sent. And I feel like I want to speak up about it. And you know how no one wants to listen to me, right? No one wants to listen to Jim Rat. No one wants to listen to me. Well, I'll make you listen to me, because I'll become the most popular crypto YouTuber ever.
But that's how this is exactly how we create the change.
Yes.
You guys who are listening and us, we all have that responsibility. to actually stand up and start doing things. Like I go into a store last year and the person's like, you need to wear a mask. I'm going to keep fucking walking. Right? Or, okay, I will just never, ever, ever do business with you again. And I will encourage every single person that I know to never do business with you again. Like we, the people, win in the end. We're going to look back in 10, 20, 30 years as a very dark time because civilization is going to continue to move forward like it has for eternity. And things will continue to get better, as GRC was just mentioning. Like this is the best time to be alive, the most opportunity. You can do anything like you want, and it's so incredibly easy. We can get in front of hundreds of thousands of people per month for virtually no cost other than our time. It is an incredible time to be alive. Get your message out, and that's what we need to do is continue.
Me and Sam will do an episode on how to get your message out. Not like specific, but like over range, like what applications we use. What tricks and tips, little tricks and tips, how to maybe get started with just a cell phone, stuff like that. We'll do an episode on that, Sam. Why not? We're going to be doing this every single day live. I am a relentless son of a bitch. I promise you. I am.
Yes.
I'm messed up in the head. Like
that consistency though is so powerful, dude. You have no
so
idea.
Powerful, and there's nothing that can stop me because
you're the only person.
I'm the only, obviously an accident or something, but other than that, my car's gone. My money, I don't care. Nothing, I don't care. That's me, guys. That's just me. That happens to be the person that I am. But I want to do this for the right reasons, 100%, because I do believe that I could potentially break the roof off this bitch. And by saying that, I say I have a lot of potential energy, and so does Sam. Ridiculous amounts. And we're using our skills that we've learned out there over a decade in the trenches, men in the trenches just trying to make a living, trying to work, not working for anyone. We're bringing this to crypto, this delayed gratification on the feet. That's what we do, Sam. We've been doing delayed gratification since we were 14 years old. When we said, first, I'm going to do 3 sets of this, 3 sets of that. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. And then you turn into this animal, and then you come into this group where potentially a large chunk of the guys have horrible lifestyle habits. And I see it, and I'm like, you're losing. Like, you don't understand that you're losing so badly. And it doesn't matter if you have 1 million hex or 1 billion hex. And I'm not saying if you're overweight. I'm saying if you can't move around, if you're losing steam, if you're not working out or trying your best to accomplish your goals, wake up every morning, piss and vinegar, then that's what I mean.
We started a conversation earlier that we did not finish in regards to there's 4 areas. There's 4 areas that every day is literally what I strive to work on. And the rest of the stuff doesn't matter to me. The peripheral things don't matter to me, right? Like I enjoy money. It's fucking awesome. It's great, right? You can create more impact with money. And the principles are relationships. So that includes, friends, anybody that, like, I've met multiple people, like, through just making content and talking to them in person and or on the phone regularly, building friendships, my girlfriend, my family, right? Building relationships is one area. I need to create stronger, deeper, better relationships and more of them, right? My mental health, right? So for some people, maybe that's spiritual, maybe that's religion for other people, right? But there's also the aspect of the mental fucking stories you tell yourself that limit you from what you're capable of doing. The mental stories that we create in our minds are the cages that hold us in. It's not somebody else. That's what the left is going to tell you. That's what anybody in the government's going to tell you, because they're going to tell you they can remove those cages. That's not fucking true. You need to look in the mirror and lift those cages yourself by changing the stories you tell yourself. The physical health, in terms of, so we've got.
I think the stories is hard more. I think more than anything, working out, doing anything, I would tell everyone, don't work out if you could do this or the other. The stories that you are told from your parents and the people around you and the schools, it takes years to erase that shit. I had to completely isolate myself from society for years. And I didn't know that's what I was doing at the time, but that's how my life went. because I got into some trouble and I just had to, lay low for a couple of years. So in that time, I learned that having nothing it's the same as having everything. It doesn't make a difference because no one literally gives a fuck. Like,
so I want to hear, because I think it'll probably be valuable to hear from you. In the last 30 days, what is, Hex Orca left an awesome comment earlier that I wanted to shout out. You had mentioned it around energy. We were talking about, bro, let's go. Sam gives me the energy to punch through a brick wall. Hell fucking yeah, dude. We need more of that.
You every day. We want you guys to succeed because we want everyone to reach for the effing stars. Why the fuck not? We have nothing else to lose. Me and Sam cannot be bought. You can promise us that we will never be bought. There's nothing they can charge us. I don't have money. I don't give a fuck. I can survive all the time. All I want is to be impactful. And all I need to do right now is work. That's my goal right now. So you don't need everything. You don't need fancy rings, fancy watch, it matters none. All it matters is what you got in the tank. Because if you don't have anything in the tank, we will outwork you. I don't care if you're a dev and you've been doing it for 10 years. If you got nothing in the tank, I'll beat you at it.
Think of one thing that you've changed in terms of the stories that you've told yourself over the last 2 months since you quit.
The things I was doing were bad. That all the things I was
what's one specific thing that you've noticed?
When I was young, for example, smoking weed. Like I thought smoking weed was as bad as stabbing your freaking cat. Like that was the first one, right? Like because I got so reprimanded for doing these things. Granted, I was a knucklehead, a total freaking knucklehead, like absolutely out of control. But I thought in my head, oh, this is really bad. I have to hide this. I must keep this a secret. I don't want others to know what I'm doing because I'll feel shame. Now, if there was a video of me butt naked doing anything, I honestly would not give a shit. Because I'm just why?
So tell me, right? So very nuanced. I'll give you an example for me, right? And you're going to think it's silly. You're going to think it's absolutely silly, but I'm giving you an example to try to see where you notice that in yourself. What is an area where you notice the resistance of you doing something and you need to push through that? So for myself, right? And I literally am saying this with over 10,000 pieces of content on the internet. I'm not exaggerating. I'm actually being conservative. Like I've been doing content for years and years and years and years and years and years online. There's so much content online. Like whether it's TikTok or Instagram or I have like 5 different YouTube channels. So I film myself in public a lot, and I still, to this day, still after 10,000 pieces, I still am in the gym, and I'm like, everybody's like standing in the spot where I'm going to go over and take pictures of myself. Literally stories that I'm creating in my mind that I today, after 10,000 fucking pieces of content of me filming myself and filming myself flexing in public and then posting that shit online, I am still doing that today. So what is an area like that for you and everybody in the comments? What is an area where it's the right thing to do to move forward? Maybe it's a phone call you need to do for
relationship based, more so communication. Like I still get worried about communicating my feelings appropriately because I don't know why. Like I just don't like to do that. But like really there's never a problem when I do it. Do you know what I mean?
So yep. So why do you? So now this is exactly
because what I do. Deep down, I think if you really want to, being vulnerable can be scary. So you just assume like if you're vulnerable, then you're leaving an attack vector open. If you know what I mean.
Yes, but what happens? You just described what happens when you are vulnerable.
And nothing bad.
And what are the positive things that happen?
You feel better. You're more alive. You're more human. You can look people in the eyes better and speak to them and be more honest with yourself.
And what happens to the relationship when you are vulnerable with that person?
It gets way better because you can. It's just
boom. That's it right there. Yes.
Better. Yeah.
Always.
It's
like
crazy.
I've never had a
sticking point. What's the whole sticking point about you think? What was your sticking point when it came to that?
I
You
knew
came
that.
into that situation in your life where you were probably fibbing a little more than you wished, and like, you know, younger, stupid.
And not even that long ago. I still do dumb shit today. Like I'm
Me
still
too.
something I'm working on. But with like different things in my personal relationship, right? With my girlfriend. There was a time where I wasn't a fucking very good dude. Like I didn't, you know, I would lie to women and just sleep around with different girls, right? Like it's what it was. I'm not trying to say it wasn't. I'm not trying to say that like anybody else should do that or you should like me because of that. That's what I did. And going through and being honest about that as I'm moving into a relationship and honest about what that might bring with it in terms of things that I tell myself from the past has allowed me to deepen that relationship with my girlfriend. Also bringing in a tremendous amount of humility and curiosity, putting those together, humility and curiosity. I need to understand what she's telling her stuff, right? Just like I have crazy stories I fucking tell myself, and you have crazy stories you tell yourself, right? Whoever you're talking to, whether it's in business, in your family, in your intimate relationship, that fucker has crazy stories they tell themselves too that are just made up fucking bullshit. And you need to understand what that made up bullshit is so you can call it in a nice way, right? You can still do it in a tactful way, but you need to call the bullshit because it's way better when you don't like just live with bullshit in your life, right? You want to live with a pile of shit on the floor next to you that shit just smells, right? And that's what happens in relationships when you're not honest. And that's intimate, but also family and friends. Like there's a reason I don't spend a lot of time with a lot of other people because sometimes people don't like getting called on their fucking bullshit. You know, like
well, no one likes to. That's why I don't hang out with people too. It's like I start calling out bullshit right away, and people are like, "Dude, you're so aggressive," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. Like, I'm not that aggressive. Like, I haven't punched anyone in the face in a fucking decade. Like, I'm not aggressive at all, really. If you look at my track record, there is no aggression. Yes, I have strong points, but that is aggression now. Strong points. Like, if you have a strong point, you're aggressive.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Real quick, let's get back to that censorship point. What was the thing that you saw about RH that you thought was not the correct thing for him to say, or maybe something that was untrue? I'm sure the context had a little bit of like, but what did he say? I just can't remember.
He said the word max censorship. So that's I mean, is that something that you hold to be true? I know.
Censorship is comparatively. So comparatively, Bitcoin has no censorship, but why won't they list Hex on all the major coin ranking sites?
That's true.
That is censorship max.
But think about max censorship on a much broader scale, and that's just how, for perspective, that's how I like to look at things. And if we're looking at things from like a longer time frame, right? What social media did you have when you were 5 years old, right? 20 years ago, 2020, right? You didn't have any social media. The internet wasn't what it is today. Well, where did we get our information? From the shitbox, right? Right? And there was things called newspapers, right? That we just used for stuffing when we're shipping shit now. Right? Who reads a newspaper? Right? And there was magazines. And there was radio, right? And like all of those things have changed where there was a gatekeeper. There was somebody who told who was allowed to say their opinion. So when we didn't get to see the censorship, but now that censorship is getting exposed. So there's a lot of people who think that today is max censorship when today is way better than 20 years ago in terms of censorship. We didn't have the ability to do this dialogue or have this conversation or have all these beautiful people in the comments. Like, it just wasn't possible. And when he says max censorship, I'm like, that's not true. But you have to put it into context. And he might just be saying it to be like hyperbolic or like trying to make it
What else
sensational.
do you think about what he said? What else? What do you think? There's any points that maybe you think he brings across too strongly? That do you think his ego gets in the way? Do you? And it's not his ego as much as just like he doesn't give a fuck. Like Hex is the best product in the world, and he knows that too. He doesn't really give a fuck. 40% is not really that hard to sell.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. There's so many rich people that don't need money. So it's just like the Hex community knows that adoption is inevitable. It's inevitable. I don't care how long it takes. If it takes fucking 6 more months, 8 more months, 2 more years, I'm a waiter, dude. I have shit to do. I don't care about the fucking price because I'm a fucking man. And I have shit to do every day when I wake up. I don't just sit there and I'm like, maybe Richard Hart today will make my life so much better. Like, it's no, just work.
Poin Hexter mentions different nations, different censorship. Same thing. So you don't like you can look at any country right before that one.
All these are very fucked a little bit right now in the Canadian.
Yeah, but you look at China. Like same thing goes in China. China's better today than it was 30 years ago. Like you can't like argue the other direction because it's just not true. Like you can like it's that fellow today, right? He can argue the big ones are best, and like we just know it's not. Like you can believe whatever fucking stories you want to make up in your mind. It's just not true. Like but that's the thing we were touching earlier.
Yeah, we're getting both the Power City main heads on tomorrow, by the way.
Ooh, Power City. So that is going to be a good
I
conversation.
got them both to come on, and they were like, "Well, you kind of fudded us," and I was like, "No, we didn't."
Oh, they said that?
Yeah, I was in the Telegram earlier. I'm a dude. You know me. I'm in everything, dude. There's nowhere where I ain't. I'm always talking.
Well, but that'll be good because then maybe we can get some of the questions.
Well, no, I want to know if this product's legit. If it's
Yes.
legit, it's fucking
Yes.
sick, dude. Fuck yeah, I'm all about guys going hard.
Yes,
Like,
and then it doesn't mean that we'll get into it.
We could do a fucking man boot camp for like a select few.
Who was that said alpha? Like we need more alpha males and somebody else.
Well, yeah, we're the first fucking like full blown gym rat alpha male dudes that have gone into Hex. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that they're not there, but like we're the first ones to be like, oh, we're streaming all the time and shit.
Yes.
They're obviously a fucking bunch of studs. There's plenty of fucking workout studs in crypto. Let's be real. There's so many athletic workout studs who have a lot of money. But in general, it's like there's not that many guys putting themselves out there in this way. We're the first guys to kind of take that merge. This is the merger. Like I'm bringing the fitness community here, and you are too. But I'm good at snatching motherfuckers. I don't know what the fuck I have in my cereal in the morning, but I could figure out how to get motherfuckers on my show. Like I don't even.
What is your approach? Like, or you're
It's just as casual if I was talking to someone at a coffee shop. It's just casual. I'm like, dude, y'all want to do a show? Like, it's lit. And they're just like, oh, okay. But I'm asking for the top guys, and I'm not changing the time for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the parameters, too. It's like, I have a show at 11. You want to join me? Because we're going to dive into this first anyway.
What did you say when they were like, oh, you were kind of like.
I said, nah, dude, I'm open-minded. I'm a little ADD. It sounds just fucking, I just told him I was free. Just, I'm a show. It's a show.
Yes.
So but I told them I'm open-minded and I'm here to learn the truth. And I said that in the chat. I said, I'm here to learn the truth. Wendy's, don't make me post a shirtless pic. Wendy's, are you coming on, Wendy's?
Feel free to do.
Yeah, please post these shirtless. That's really up our alley, believe it or not. We love shirtless.
I look at Chad. Chad's like, you won't, Wendy's. You won't.
Chad.
Yeah, dude, you can't say that to people in the fitness industry because they're going to encourage you to do that.
You remember Wendy's, right?
Yeah. Wendy's is coming on?
Yes.
Awesome. Hell yeah. Wendy's.
I really like the dialogue. It's hard. We don't get the chance to talk as much as we used to, even though we're on stream together every day. It's funny because like I bring guys on and then you pick their brain and I kind of moderate. And it's like we're never doing. That's why I can't wait to do more shows one-on-one with you, where we can really show these people like what we are like in real life. Like we want to be better every single day. And we've been doing this for so long. Like, and I never knew it was going to have financial gain necessarily for me, not for you, but like for me, I just wasn't there yet in my, like with that. I didn't really care. I just wanted to be, I wanted to feel the man. Like I never felt the man, and I was pissed. And I was like, I feel little, I feel stupid. I feel like I can't get my point across. And by doing these daily habits, you learn what other people don't do. And you learn what it takes, and you're like, it ain't that much. And I can double down. It's like,
but that's what you're doing twice a day. So you're going through the process. When you look back, when you like give some perspective, you would probably thought you were going in when you were working 12 hours a day, right? And then you'd go to the gym, right? You probably thought that then.
I wasn't even fucking close.
So
wasn't
talk
even
about
fucking
that.
close.
Because there's people
12 hours a day. I worked for 9.5 hours of hard fucking work per day. Like, I'm not talking like, oh, we're chilling, we're looking at the computer, we're doing this. I'm like fucking working, like handling shit, dealing with animals, because I was doing dog stuff back then. And like, it was sketchy ass shit. And coming out, working out, ass tired, my body wouldn't even adjust as well as it does to the gym now, because I don't have to use my energy for anything else. So now I use like 50% less energy, and I have the same result because I'm sitting here, and like, people have no idea how beneficial it is to be working from home if they don't already. Like, you're wasting too much time driving alone, and you'll die in the car. I won't even get in the fucking car anymore unless I have to go somewhere specific. Like, but it's like before, it was just driving was like, I was always driving. I was like putting in like 4 hours of driving a day.
How do you feel today, now that you're pressing on growth, personal growth in multiple different areas, versus how you felt a couple of years ago when you thought you were growing? And I'm sure you were in certain ways, but now you've broadened your perspective of what growth is, and I feel like you take it way more seriously.
Oh, who's going to take it seriously for me? I have one fucking shot, and I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. My family is going to die. I want to give it everything I have. And Richard Hart really opened up some of that avenue for me. He did, because he told me that too. He's like, everyone's dying around me and no one's putting up a fight. And he meant, by putting up a fight, he meant medical research, a literal fight against AIDS. That's his fight. Richard Hart doesn't want to die because he knows how great this life is. I feel the same way. If someone said I could live healthily till 90, I'd be like, fucking sign me up for that drug.
Right?
Because that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Every single day is an absolute blessing. We can do whatever we want. You just don't think you can. You aren't telling yourself you can, but you can.
Correct. 2-3 years ago, were you a lot more in your mind of throughout your day when you're doing stuff versus today? Or I know to people who are watching or listening that we may sound like very ADD, which we are, but there's a time in my life where a lot of my time was spent like in my mind thinking about shit that's not important and not taking action. And things change when you shift to that like seesaw. So now that instead of all this time being spent in life in my mind and less time taking action, that seesaw shifts and you start taking way more action and spending less time in your mind. Like massive change starts to happen.
I just don't know the formula. I know the formula to get people there, but it just takes all in all the time. And some people just will never do that. Like, people in my family always do that. Like, everyone in my family does that kind of vibe. So it's not.
What would you define? How would you define that? Like, would you define?
They don't have anyone telling them what to do.
But are they going all in on their relationships? Are they going all in on their mental health?
I'd say in some ways they are, some ways they aren't, like all humans, but 80-20.
Physical health. I think that's my biggest weakness.
My family is very healthy and like they're healthy people in general. Like, they all are very concerned about basic health function and exercise for the most part. But again, Most people are not. I'm also wired to be energetic 24/7, which everyone in my family kind of is. So that's a part of it. It's just I wish I could get more people to the point that I feel right now, where it's like I don't have more money than anyone in this chat. Well, you know what I mean.
Probably not, but yeah.
There's probably a lot of people in this chat that are way more well off than me and fucking miserable. Absolutely miserable. Nothing to do, no place to go, don't know if they should drink, don't know if they should not drink, don't know if they should go out. Maybe I want to go out. Maybe I have good relationships. Maybe I can meet a girl one day. Maybe my family, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, no more maybe. Like, you're in charge. You are in charge. I am in charge. When I wake up, no one else helps me. I mean, yeah, I have business partners and shit like that, but like, there's no one like patting me on the back like, Scott,
get out of bed. It's like,
get out of bed today. I'm like, no, I want to get out of bed today because I can be max effort with maybe a little nap midday and then back to max effort.
I think it's probably good that we do have people on more like regularly, and because if people have to listen to us just talk about trying as hard as we can, like that's what I like that's just what I talk about.
Richard's gonna be like, fuck these guys, they're fucking dicks. Yeah, like everyone's gonna be like, these guys just work out all the time, blah blah blah. Let's I said
or just try.
No,
it's all good. Heck, Sandy Beach mentioned, what was your question? I missed the beginning and end of the RA stream. Did he say pulse chain within a month? It did seem like he strongly implied that there would be mainnet launch in next month. So I don't know. I was trying to think of a creative way. You guys let me know in the comments. I go, how could we kind of like creatively predict that? But you can kind of do that to a certain extent with products. We're using like search volume or YouTube traffic and like social following growth on different platforms, right? And you can track some of that stuff to get an idea of what's happening. But like, how can you track or predict using macro data when mainnet is going to launch? I'm not sure. I've thought about that, and I'm not sure what data.
Liquidity. It's just liquidity. It's just pulling out liquidity. People want their coins in their wallet.
But if you see liquidity going down in these like third party like liquidity pools out like other dexes, like then that means it's launched, because I don't think you could have two or the other, right? Like
what did you say? Say that one more time.
I believe that when the AMM bot goes to start harvesting liquidity, that is the time. That is exact time when mainnet launches. I think it's all happening at once. I don't think that there's going to be the AMM bot taking liquidity, right? Because if the AMM bot takes all this liquidity, then the ARBs can figure out the pricing right over here, and they get to take all that, right? And I don't know, like that's the one side.
I have no fucking clue, dude. About that. Like, I don't know. Like, what do y'all think in the chat? Like, as far as that, what do y'all think? Like, what do y'all think the way that it gets deployed will look like, as far as, because there is a gap between like when it connects to Ethereum. I know that.
Like, what does that mean? Can you explain that?
There's a gap when you can like trade within the PulseChain network, but it's not bridged yet. Does that make sense? I think. God, I'm so stupid. Everyone's gonna think I'm an idiot. But I hope I didn't say that fucking wrong.
What do you mean? What do you mean? There's a gap between like when it launches or something, or
yeah, like everyone's like, oh, we're gonna hold on, 50K in like 40 minutes.
Wow, that's amazing. Why don't you tell people what you just did for anybody who's doing social stuff?
I had a 150 employee company doing 60 million a year turnover when 2003, when I retired at the age of 25. I started mining Bitcoin when it was 50 cents. You haven't answered. Yes, because I'm fixing everything. The reason I'm a self-help author, the reason I raised $27 million for charity, the reason I raised multiple billions of dollars for freedom of movement and freedom of speech is because I deeply care about these things. I've been rich and retired for decades, plural. I've run out of shit to buy. I have 5 million. I've been rich and retired since 2000.
And that, guys, just to let you know how viral Hex is really going, that has 1,500 likes on TikTok, and I did it 40 minutes ago.
1,500 likes, but almost 50,000.
50 views, 50K views, 50K views, and I just posted that from my phone while I was scratching my ass.
Yeah,
Literally. So that's guys.
Yeah.
Get up and go. Spread the word about Richard Hart. If you don't want to put your face on camera, spread the word about Richard.
Blaine, yeah, there's lots. Or if you want to, hey, you know what we can do here? If anybody does want to help, and you enjoy or like appreciate or want to help what we're doing, and you want to take anything where you're like, oh, Sam said something really stupid here, clip it and send it to me. I can post it, right, and make fun of myself. Or I say something intelligent or witty, clip those sections and send them to me. Clip those sections and send them to GRC.
If you guys send me any fucking clips, I would be so happy, because I am streaming so often and working so hard that I cannot physically have enough time to watch the video back. I'll hire someone soon enough to do it for me, but I'll be the brokest person to ever hire someone for clips. So that's how I roll. I don't. It's work first, money later. I don't.
That'll come.
Yeah. I mean, I did work for a long time.
Blaine.
Oh wait. Boom. Wendy's for tendies. How are you doing today, fine sir?
Hey, I just was like, oh, okay, you guys are gonna.
Hey, it sounds like there's a hurricane over there, bro.
If my background noise is pretty terrible, I'm sorry. I'm on the highway. So.
It's not that bad. How are you feeling? Did you watch the stream?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, like, long ass drive, right? So got to go through some of that content, and it made the drive much better. And luckily, when I was driving down, the happy hour was that day, so that took up quite a few hours too, so it made it much better. But to answer the question, they're so the way I explain it, which I think is best for lay people, is think of PulseChain like a video game, right? And so video games have their own economies, right? So if you've ever played World of Warcraft, RuneScape, whatever, they have
RuneScape, right? I maxed out all my caves.
Yeah. So if you wanted to buy a horse in World of Warcraft, let's say it costs 20 gold, right? Well, how much is that to me and you? It's its own ecosystem, right? So you have to mine ore, sell swords, yada yada. So until there is a bridge, and you can bridge from the real world, fiat dollars, to World of Warcraft, then a horse doesn't cost anything dollar-wise, but it does cost something gold-wise, right? So there's going to be trading, there's going to be ratios, there's going to be exchanges of value that do not have a dollar value, but they still have value, right? And then when the bridge opens, it will bridge Ethereum to PulseChain. And when people bridge assets that have a price chart, right, like Ethereum, USDC, when they bridge those things over and they set up a pair and do a trade, that's when it's like the lights go on, right? Everything has value at that point.
Wendy's question for you. I like that analogy. It's super. Yeah, it's its own ecosystem. But once you start connecting it to the world and everything is interconnected, that's where you get to see those numbers. So a couple questions for you. Is there a way for people to transfer from Avalanche or BSC to PulseChain without going through Ethereum?
I think he's talked about it before, that he would like to add other bridges, but as far as I know, from what I've heard from him, it's just going to be Ethereum to start. And I mean that, but you go where the liquidity is, right? The most of the money is in Ethereum, so that's where all the economic energy is going to bridge over from. If you look, the whole point, right, with PulseX is to vampire liquidity. Where's most of the liquidity? It's on Uniswap, right? Even if he's going to vampire liquidity from Matic, most people will bridge Matic to ETH, and back and forth.
Did you catch Wendy's? Did you catch what he said the other day to go off of your point of where the liquidity is, right? Liquidity is primarily in V3 Uniswap, right? That's the most voluminous DEX, and he is not. It did not seem like they're going to be pulling liquidity from there. They're having trouble, and he said, "Oh, if the ARBs make money."
because they're NFTs. Because like Uniswap v3 is all NFTs, whereas like Uniswap v2.
What does that mean exactly?
So when you pool in Uniswap v2, you get a liquidity provider token, okay? And that liquidity provider token, basically, it's like essentially it'll show your like ratio in a trade. So it'll show like a US dollar amount or whatever. So it'll say like, oh, he's got 100,000 USDC, and he's got like 100 ETH or whatever. When they went to Uniswap v3, it actually became NFTs, and NFTs are like unique to the person, I guess. So basically, it's like I guess I don't know how to explain it, but it's basically you can't really like. So like in the old system, you could essentially like stake tokens. You could stake your like liquidity provider tokens and stuff. And because there was like an easy way to see how much you have, as far as like with the NFTs, like copying that and so that's why they've been having issues.
That last point just got cut out. That last point just got cut out. The NFT part.
It's essentially too complicated. It's too complicated. And I said this months ago. I said like, man, I don't know how they're gonna copy that because essentially like Uniswap v3 like coming out basically killed a lot of liquidity farming. So people had plenty of time to try and figure that out, and nobody, to my knowledge, ever figured out how to do that with NFTs. So I don't see how they could copy the liquidity over. I mean, maybe it's theoretically possible, but it would take forever. So I don't think he's going to do it.
Why is that? You said it's something to do with the token, right? And also on a point. So you had mentioned that staking your token is kind of like a way to see what you had in value. Is that understanding? So what do you mean by that?
I mean, it's best to like have done it so you can see. I can't give you like, I'm not a dev, so I can't give you like the full technicals, but essentially like if you have like a certain amount of LP tokens like in your wallet, they're essentially like placeholders for your liquidity on the exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the exchange knows based on your tokens that are in your wallet what your position is.
And do people trade those tokens?
No, you don't trade them, because I mean if you trade those, you're basically giving up your tokens. You see what I'm saying? Like because it's a position. It's like when you make a position on Uniswap v2 or like in PulseX, you have to put equal amounts on.
It's like checking your coat, and you're just giving your receipt away for checking your coat. Somebody else can take your coat, kind of idea.
Exactly.
Right?
So when there is like liquidity farming for that, you have to trust who you're liquidity farming, because essentially like if you go on PulseX or you go on Uniswap v2 and then you get those tokens in your wallet, that is saying just like you said, that's a good analogy, right? That's your code, right? So if you give those tokens to somebody else and they're in turn going to pay you an incentive of some kind for usually it's for a permanent loss. Sometimes it's to like bootstrap liquidity for a project. So they'll say, hey, if you provide liquidity and then we can see your liquidity, we will give you more of the token to, for your impermanent loss. And that's just to bootstrap liquidity. But again,
we're having some technical difficulties. The last like 5 seconds just got cut out. So you were saying like that's one way to help increase liquidity, right? But then it got cut out for a second.
For a project, but then the issue is that they could just rug pull it, right? Because you gave them the ticket for the coat, right? So if they want to go claim your coat, they could do that. To use your
okay. So and when you stake the LP tokens, I thought you could stake them in a way to earn additional yield. Is that not accurate?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
So I say, give me your LP tokens, right? Give me your LP tokens, which is saying, give me your ticket to your coat, right? And I'm gonna give you like, some coasters or whatever as a way, because you're, me or your coat being in the thing, has some risk to it, right? and so it's a way to reward you for that risk. And then
Okay, gotcha. So it's still
where
kind of not just
you're so there is a lot of risk. I think the PulseX, because there's way less risk when it's a Richard Hart project, right? You're not trusting some skeezy and non-dev. You're in a Richard Hart ecosystem. So
what do you guys think about this comment real quick? You can tokenize V3 liquidity and sell them as NFTs. That's what you guys were saying, probably, right?
So now, Wendy's, when you look at V3, you said instead of a token, you get an NFT, right?
correct.
Okay, so that means it makes it a little bit more unique, because if somebody wants to put up $12 and $12, assuming that was economically like a thing to do, you could, or you could put up 12 million, 12 million, and you get a different NFT,
right. Well,
instead of
so I think the easy way to like tell based on the old system, again I'm not a dev, so I'm not 100% sure on this, but like because you have to put equal amounts on each side, like US dollar wise, I think it's easier for like a contract to be like, oh, okay, like they have this amount, so when they unstake and they exchange that token back in, it's really easy to see. Now when it's an NFT, the issue is you can add essentially like single side liquidity on Uniswap V3, right? So you could basically have a buy order of almost all USDC and very little hex, which is essentially a buy order below the price. So the price dips below the current price and your order starts getting filled, right? You can't do that on Uniswap V2, and that whole thing is like a function of the NFT.
So can you explain that one more time, please?
So essentially, like on PulseX and stuff, until possibly like a year from now, if and that's a big if he upgrades it to like a Uniswap V3, you won't be able to actually add a limit order. So you would just so it'll essentially be all market orders. But like in Uniswap V2, because you have to put equal amounts on both sides. So let's say you have 100,000 hex, right? And hex is $1. Yay! Everyone's happy. Hex is $1. So you have $100,000 and 100,000 hex, right? Those are equal dollar amounts. So now you make a pair. on Uniswap V2, that's all you can do. That is all you can do. On Uniswap V3, you could say, all right, well, I got $100,000 of hex and maybe like 2,000 or 1,000 hex or whatever. So you're going to essentially like make that a pair. And so what it would do is it would essentially be a buy order under the current price for $100,000
because of the ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yep. So if you influence the one side of the ratio, it's going to affect the other, and then allows you to buy. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. I mean, if the price goes down, it would be a buy. Otherwise, it's just liquidity sitting there in case somebody wanted to sell into it. But
and
yeah,
so
in Uniswap V2, you are essentially, and this is the same as PulseX, you are providing liquidity from infinity to infinity. Okay, so coins can drop 90% every single day. Like people don't get like how math works. Like people don't realize like, oh, it's dipped 50%. Like it can dip 50% every day. Like that, the decimal place just moves over. And so Uniswap, that's why like Richard the other day was talking about like, there could be essentially like one PulseX in the liquidity pool and just move up forever, because that's how it works.
That last thing you said, PulseX, and then it cut out for a second.
Okay, so PulseX.
Just give him a sec. Yep.
This is good.
He's driving, so he's in a dead zone probably.
Yeah, 100%. Wendy's, you still there?
You're probably just driving through a dead zone, Wendy's. Your audio's been perfect up to this point.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
It's just you driving. Yep, you're back.
Okay, awesome. So so essentially the PulseX, like Richard was saying the other day, essentially if there's only like if there's ever a worry about like not enough PulseX in the pool, the decimal place just moves over. because that's what can happen. If you start with $100,000 and you lose 50%, you can lose 50% again, and you can lose 50% again, and you can lose 50% again, right? That's just how math works. Like math, can go down to infinity and up to infinity, right? And that's essentially, how Uniswap works. So you're providing liquidity on the entire range from 0 and going down to 0 can happen like for infinity, basically.
So I thought that there was a way to limit the area that you provide liquidity in.
There is on Uniswap v3. That's not a Uniswap v2 thing, and that's not going to be on PulseX either.
PulseX is a copy of V2, basically.
Correct. Yep. So Uniswap v3 is basically like patented, but you can't copy it for like another year.
Okay, so it's not open source. Okay, interesting.
Correct. Yes.
That's why there's so much. Okay, so if somebody's just harvesting liquidity, and this is where I'm missing this because I just don't understand. Where like what is not as just simple as going to the marketplace and buying a bunch of shit, apparently, right? What makes it different than just going to the marketplace like V2 and just buying, half of whatever's there? And it sounds like your audio might be cutting out.
Give it 1 sec, Wendy's. Give it 1 sec.
Okay.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're asking, Sam. And he does.
Go ahead. I think it's working now.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? You guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Give it a go.
Hello? Okay.
We can.
So the question is essentially from like a user's perspective, why would I buy liquidity versus buying and selling? Like,
Why? What? I guess I didn't understand why the AMM bot would have trouble harvesting from V3. Like, what about the NFT thing makes it challenging?
because I don't think that see what the position is possibly, but I just know that because there's been issues with for that reason, I was under the assumption, I guess I was right, that it would not be easy for them to copy V3 liquidity. And because, like you're essentially forking V2. So V3 liquidity is a little bit different. So I'm not exactly sure how they're going to do that. I don't know if they're just going to exclude V3. I'm honestly
because that's
sure,
where most of the liquidity is. So that's going to provide, like, the liquidity on the smaller dexes is going to dry up very quickly. Mm-hmm. So that's going to, so I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Fucking smart.
Wendy's, I want to hear this. I want to hear your opinion on this. Okay, so we have this AMM fixture bot that's going to go out and grab liquidity and put it into PulseX, right, and try to vampire these other exchanges. Now, as soon as that fucking starts, it's going to be pretty apparent, right? At least that's my.
No, maybe not necessarily. Not necessarily. Like, we don't know the exact way it's going to happen. So, like, this all might happen like before any user has access to it, right? So by the time he says like it is up, my assumption is it already happened, and so like when we log in, it's already done. You know what I mean? Because there could be issues with it, right? So he's probably not going to say like, oh, it's harvesting now, like prepare for mainnet, in the next day or so. Like he's probably just going to do it, and then he's going to give a range of like when mainnet's going to go live or whatever. He's going to say like, sometime within the next week it's going to go live, so you don't know exactly when the fork is and all that. And then we're just like, as far as we go, we're not going to know. We're just going to log in and it's going to be done.
But here's the thing, right? If I think I've understood, and I don't know, right? If I've understood what he's saying correctly, is that through providing liquidity, the AMM bot is basically going to mint Pulse and put that into those other exchanges.
It's essentially yes. So like it is some Pulse, and it's essentially going to buy. What it's going to do is it's going to buy the PRC20s.
Okay, so buy the PRC20s. You mean the ERC20s? Because how are you going to buy the PRC20s if they're not available?
No, this is all on PulseChain. This is not like that's what I'm telling you. Like you're not going to know. It's going to be on PulseChain, and you're not going to have access to the mainnet PulseChain. It's like a totally different network than the testnet. So you're just not going to know. He's just going to say like this is the chain ID. This is yada yada yada, and you're going to log in, and it's already going to be done. It would have already been done.
It's not so. But what you're saying, it means, if I'm understanding correctly, that they're not going to these other dexes, right? Because you're saying it's in a completely different spot. But I thought they were going to these other dexes.
No, you're assuming that like he's going to like Uniswap and buying. No, what I was explaining to you was that it's like a video game. It's completely separate. Like World of Warcraft is not in the real world, right? You don't see ogres walking around. It's a completely separate ecosystem, just like PulseChain is. PulseChain, the AMM bot cannot operate on Ethereum. That's not how it works. It's operating only on PulseChain.
So so where is it going to buy these PRC20s then? Because I had a completely different understanding of it.
Because essentially everything is forked. So Uniswap is forked. So it's going to go on these dexes essentially on PulseChain and automatically buy the essentially like on PulseX and buy all the PRC20 pairs to make everything, because the issue is like
gotcha.
The pairs on PulseChain are going to be completely like messed up, because you have for every like Ethereum they're getting diluted by like what did he say, like 1.5 million X or something?
1.2, yeah, 1.2.
Yeah, 1.2 million X. So it's like, so if you just left it like that, everything would be so messed up. So he's got to come in. He's got to like inflate the PLS supply a little bit to buy these things to give them like some sort of liquidity, because like you say like imagine there's 300,000 ETH, right, to make the numbers easy. There's 300,000 ETH in a pair against Hex or something like that, right, or some other coin, right? Well, that's $30. So like imagine $30, 300,000 ETH turning into $30 of liquidity. It's just like that. You couldn't even use. You'd have to set like the the slippage bot to like hundreds of %, because even if you bought like $200, it would move the price chart like so much. So that's why it's doing that.
Wendy, so another question, but first of all, thank you. Like this is awesome. Like this has been very like
Wendy's the real fucking deal.
The idea in my mind was completely fucking different. So thank you for explaining this so that I can understand it.
No problem.
The AMM bot is not going anywhere near any EVM
Correct.
shit. It's going to the EVM copy
solely on PulseChain.
Now explain that to me, Sam.
Okay, so what Wendy's is saying is like I don't play video games or know anything about those two video games you said, but
yeah,
in the video game,
yes.
He's now, what is it, World of Warcraft, or what was
RuneScape? Let's use RuneScape because that's the one.
Okay, so Moonscape. So now I'm literally copying Moonscape, but I'm making it better. So now I'm copying it. And where would you go to like buy shit, like a portal or something?
Exchange.
An exchange. So in Moonscape, and there's probably multiple different exchanges, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the real game over there, and I have the fake, like the new game over here, right?
Better game.
The better game, the faster game, the more powerful.
So I'd be over here playing RuneScape, thinking like, "Oh my god, that one's better," but like, should I, like?
And I'm playing over here in this world that is not connected to anything. So in this world that's not connected to anything, I'm getting all those exchanges. I just copied exactly the exchanges you had over there, but they're in like this world that I'm creating. And when I go live, I copy literally everything. So in these exchanges, right, you have V2, right, Uniswap. I literally copy exactly what's there, and now it's over here. So in the meantime, I take my new exchange, and I'm like, this bitch is going to be the fucking shit. How do I make it the shit? I'm going to go steal everything out of all these other exchanges and put it into this one spot called PulseX. Now all of it is here. And then all I have to do is punch a hole between this game and that game, and then shit starts going berserk.
Yes.
So think about it like this: you copied it to another game, right? And it's this new game, and it's the same, but some things are different. So one thing that's different is in RuneScape you use gold. In this same game you use credits, right? Well, because all the gear that you had in that game was in gold, everything has to be repriced. for credits, and so that's essentially what the AMM bot's doing.
Okay, Wendy's another
Is
question.
this a vampire attack?
No, the vampire attack is essentially the fact that they're paying a ton of money in incentive token for liquidity, because again, remember how I said there is no essential like paying on Uniswap anymore. It's gone. Like there is none of that. There is some on Sushi, there is some on like QuickSwap, DFYN, and some others, but it's minuscule compared to what PulseX is going to be paying. And add in the basically free trading, because trades are going to cost like thousandths of a cent, then that's what's going to be the vampire. The vampire is going to be the fact that like I have millions of dollars and I want to make yield on my millions of dollars, like other than the on top of the fees that I get, right? Because you're going to get fees on any of these networks, but the vampire is going to come in the form of like siphoning liquidity because you're paying them. And then it's twofold, because number one, once you have all the liquidity there, a lot of trading starts happening there. So then also the people who are moving liquidity are also getting trading fees on top of the incentive token. And so they're making way more money than they made on the other network. So like, for example, let's say you had $1 million position on Matic, right? And you're on QuickSwap, and QuickSwap's paying you 5%, right? And then Pulse comes around, and PulseX is paying you on that same pair 35%. And you're going to probably get more trading fees because more people are, using the network. So it's like, why would you stay for 5% when you can get 35%?
What's the rationale behind why it would be a higher percentage that they're going to make versus Matic?
Well, for one, it's new. Like, so Matic has already been paying. Matic at one point was paying crazy amounts of fees. I mean, I've made 80% APR on coins like liquidity farming. You can't get that forever. That's it's temporary. So
okay.
Now this is all temporary. So the beauty though is that so in Matic you have it's just not the best user experience. So when people come over to PulseChain and PulseX, they're gonna number one see like PulseX and all the buy and burn and all that and how that's working. Perhaps they get some of that, because they're over there providing liquidity, and then they're seeing like, wow, this thing is like automatically buying and burning. It's a better user experience. The fees are even cheaper than they are at Matic. So like you get the liquidity because you're paying them, and people are leeches. I mean, they're going to go to wherever they're paid. But like all of a sudden you move to a new neighborhood, right? Maybe they say like, hey, you're a cop. We'll pay you $500 a month, or we'll let you live rent free here because you're leaving your police car outside, right? And then you're like, wow, this neighborhood's actually like really nice, right? Like you go there for the incentive, you stay because you really like the neighborhood. It's a safe neighborhood. It's there's more, so it's more than just the incentive. The incentive gets you there.
Wendy's, I have a couple questions. Is all Ethereum is being diluted? All Ethereum is being diluted by 1.2?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you. How is staking LP tokens different on PulseX than on V2 than giving up your voucher for your jacket? How is it different, or it's the same fucking thing?
It's essentially the same. It's just that like, who are you trusting, right? Like, would you rather trust like let's say like some random project, right? Versus trusting the exchange. Would you rather trust QuickSwap or PulseX? Like, I'd rather trust Richard Hart because he's out there, he's very public. I don't know who the hell the CEO of QuickSwap is. I don't know who the hell the CEO of like Sushi is. Like, I know who Hayden Adams is, the Uniswap guy, but some of these other ones, they're you just don't know. And it's just for that reason, it's a Richard Hart project. It's automatically safer.
Okay, because of the trust and the transparency that he's bringing to the marketplace.
Yeah, because I mean, you're putting millions of dollars in liquidity somewhere. You got to have some trust. You know what I'm saying? So crazy things have happened in DeFi. I've seen.
It's just so. How deep is this rabbit hole? Could you ever have imagined? Like, yeah.
No, this is like glorious. Yeah. Like, this is Wendy's is fucking awesome. Like,
no, Wendy's is one of the premier guys that I would go to for information if I actually had to ask someone.
Wendy's. This has been tremendously valuable to me. Yes. Like, I appreciate your time, and like, I literally gained the understanding of what like I've been hearing, right? And it just have clicked in this conversation. So thank you, because this is like, I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
but-
literally going to make a separate video for my channel about this topic because it's finally clicked for me to get an understanding of this.
Good. I mean,
Another
this
question.
is one thing. Like, if you've never done it before, you don't necessarily understand the risks, right? Because like I can tell you something, but if you haven't seen it, you haven't experienced it. Like if I tell you like, yo, this neighborhood's dangerous, right? You're like, okay, that neighborhood's dangerous. But if you've
That's a
been in
good
that
one.
neighborhood and you've seen people get shot and you've seen people get killed, right? That's a whole nother level. So
Yeah.
I've been in DeFi. I've seen people get shot and killed. You know what I'm saying? So me just telling you it's dangerous is like, it's not enough. Like what I'm telling you is that like the PulseX and the PulseChain ecosystem in general is just like it's so nice because you can park your money over there and not worry, you know. Now, aside from the fact that like if you take a position, you have to understand what that position is, because we've talked about this before with impermanent loss and all that kind of stuff. You have to understand what you're doing. But as far as like on the base level security, like I feel very comfy putting my money on PulseChain and PulseX, you know, in a Richard Heart ecosystem as compared to a lot of other stuff that's out there. And you know, the other thing is like Richard Heart pays his devs well. You know, he's paying like almost $180,000 a year to his devs. Like he's
No,
paying
to the
them well.
bottom, to the bottom dev.
But
To
we
the
just
first
don't.
dev.
I mean, we don't have any. At least I don't have any context. Like that could be high. That could be just market rate. What everybody's earning. I just don't know. I'm brand new to this. Like everybody else could be earning 175 as a dev. Maybe they're earning 250, right? Like we've seen.
I mean, I have friends that are devs and they're not earning that much, but you know,
Okay.
they're all
I don't know. Like I don't have any context, so I trust you on this. I'm just not sure. A question about this, and it's probably like a 100% noob question, but I don't know, so I'm gonna ask this. The fees on PulseX, right? Fees on PulseX. So I understand the fee 0.29%. I understand the split on how that's separated, you know, but buy and burn, 3% goes to like Richard's thing or whatever, and then 76% goes to the LPs. Now that fee is the payer, correct?
Yeah, so like they're like, you know, people could get confused because you could say, oh, well, transactions are super cheap on PulseChain. So like there's the fee that goes to the validator, and then there's like a fee on like a swap. So like when you do like a swap on like Uniswap or, you know, any of the others, you're essentially like paying like, and if you look, I think it even says it on the bottom, like in the fee. So like next time you go on Uniswap, like look, and it'll say like, oh, you're paying like 70, like you, like if you go to like buy or sell Hex, you might be giving like, you know, $70 in USDC to like a liquidity provider, you know. And so so like they're going to get like that, you know, those fees in like Hex, PulseX, PulseChain.
What so whatever the pair is, if it's Hex USDC, then
Correct.
they're gonna earn Hex or USDC depending on
Correct.
the direction. Okay.
Correct.
Now
plus the incentive token.
Plus the incentive token that gets voted on by people.
Which there's a lot of variable, which we still don't know any game theory about.
Correct. We have no idea what that's going to be. Okay.
No game theory on that yet. So, I asked Richard in the chat maybe 700 times.
Okay, so what we'll get an answer at some point.
I know he saw it. He's like, fuck this guy.
Okay, Wendy's. How does the 25% quote here, air quotes, buy and burn for Pulse work? I understand for PulseX how that works. Where's the fee generated?
So you remember the fee is generated like at the contract level. So you remember how I was explaining before about like Uniswap V2 that it gives you those tokens that represent your share of the liquidity,
Cool.
essentially your code ticket. So what PulseX does is anytime somebody does a trade, it takes a portion of that code ticket, and what it does is it liquidates it, sells the code ticket, so it breaks it down into like, so for example, if someone trades Hex, right, it breaks that down into Hex USDC, it sells both of those and buys back PulseX, buys PulseX and burns it.
Okay, so what'll
happen is like those tokens will accumulate, and then there's going to be a bounty where somebody clicks the bounty. It'll say like, you know, you get, you know, X amount of, you know, it's probably PulseX. I haven't seen it, but you know, it'll say like, oh, you get X amount of PulseX, you know, for this bounty right now. So you just say, oh, is that bounty more than, you know, the transaction cost of like a pulse chain or a pulse chain transaction, which is like, you know, thousands of a cent, right? So if it's like 1 cent, you're making money, right? So you hit that button and it'll those elements that the contract gather, I essentially burn them, send them to a burn contract.
Well, so okay, so so this is where I'm not clear on, right? So you have Hex USDC. Somebody's buying Hex. Somebody's buying USDC. Doesn't fucking matter. What happens is, from my understanding, you're gonna do $1,000. So there's a 0.29% fee on that $1,000, right? Of that fee, say for example, the transaction is the size that equates to $100 fee, right? Just for math purposes, whatever the number comes out to. $100 fee, 21% of that fee goes to buy and burn Pulse X. 3%.
Right. I think it's actually more than that now, from what I heard, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
It says I'm going from the website, so unless it's changed and it's not updated, it says on PulseX that it's 21% of the fee, and then it's also in Richard Hart's like Twitter, but then 3% goes to him of every transaction, and 76% goes to the LP. Okay, I get how PulseX is going to be bought and burned, but I don't understand how 25% of fees in Pulse. Where does the 25% fee in Pulse? How is that generated? Like the fee I just talked about is generated from a trade. Where is a fee generated in Pulse, or where's a fee generated that is used to buy a portion back of PulseX to burn? I'm sorry, Pulse to burn, right? Because one is 21%, one is 25%. Pulse X is 21%, and Richard has said, unless it's different, right? He said it's 25% for Pulse. So where is that fee coming from to pay for that?
You talk about like on Pulse, like, because I think you're talking about two separate things. You're talking about like a PulseX, which is a contract, and then you're talking about like Pulse validators.
This is probably where the confusion comes to. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and that's what I'm trying to get conclusion on. Clarity on.
The one is an exchange, right? So it's a decentralized application running on Pulse Chain. So
correct.
That is essentially like, you know, running, you know, PRC20s, right? So like people are swapping PRC20s as a contract, and it's operating. Pulse Chain in general. So like when you're doing, when you're essentially sending Pulse to somebody, to a wallet, you're interacting with a contract and it's saying like approve PLS, you know, like you're essentially paying a validator a small amount of that fee, and then the rest of that fee is burned. Same as it is in Ethereum. So like,
okay, gotcha. So like on
Ethereum,
that's what I was trying to understand.
Yeah, I think we talked about it like maybe like 1 or 2 times ago I was on, where EIP 1559, like a portion of every transaction on Ethereum is essentially burned. It's the same thing on Pulse.
Oh, that's the new one that's coming out where supposedly Ethereum
it's already out. No,
okay,
it's already out. What the thing that's coming up is called the merge, and that's when Ethereum goes full proof of stake, because right now it's hybrid. There's essentially like a parallel chain called the Beacon chain, which is operating on proof of stake and not validating any transactions. And then there's the current mainnet, which is proof of work. So the merge is basically merging those two chains into one. And then that's when there's full proof of stake. Now, because proof of work is essentially like using electricity and all that, there's inflation. There's still going to be inflation with the merge, but it's going to be reduced. And so there can be times when it is essentially fully deflationary. Usually, probably in like a bull market, or if something like crazy is going on, it could be like deflationary for a day. Maybe if some like crazy NFT thing drops and everybody's like fighting over a gas goes really expensive, it could be deflationary. But like Pulse Chain is deflationary from the start.
Okay, so thank you for explaining that. I want to paraphrase, but also continue to ask a question. And I
Okay.
want to say what's up to Hex to Learn because he just got on. You can't see that, but I just say hello. He's got looks like a bunny outfit on almost with a headband.
I had the Tupac. I had the Tupac face on because everyone says in
Tupac.
the Italian put Tupac, so I just did it as a joke. But how you guys
Okay.
doing, man? What's up, tendies? How you doing?
What up? What up?
Here, let Sam go down the rabbit hole for another minute. He's fucking locked in.
Okay, so when a transaction happens on Pulse X, right, you have a fee of 0.29%. That is the only fee, or is there also like a gas fee? Is what you're kind of like my understanding is of Pulse.
Yeah, there is.
In addition.
There,
okay, cool. Well,
yes, there's two, but it goes to different people.
Yes, gotcha.
People.
Okay, that
yes.
makes perfect sense. So any transaction, whether it's a NFT or you're interacting with the DApp or any of that shit, is going to be Pulse, and that is 20
from the base layer. But like, of course, like I could make an NFT platform, right? And say like, okay, if you come and trade NFTs on my platform, I'm taking 1%, right? And that 1% is going to be used, well, blah, 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 right? But you still have, if you're doing a transaction on the network, you still have to pay a validator or a miner on any network, no matter what DApp you're using.
On Pulse, is it a 75-25 split, if you know off the top of your head, between 25% getting to a buy and burn on Pulse and 75% going to and I have one more question after this. Is 75% going to the validators?
Well, you know, it's kind of like a tricky thing because it's not actually like a flat number. Like I think again, I'm not a complete expert on this, but I know that up to like 96, maybe even 98% of a transaction can be burned. So there is some like variable to that.
Can you point me to a direction?
I think it's based on like gas at the time, because like gas can like scale with, you know, essentially like, right, like, so if you look at like an ETH bot, right, it'll tell you like, oh, Gwei is like 45 and Gwei could go to 1,000, right? So like in the sense that like it is like gas is elastic, so too is the burn. I think it can burn more than just the minimum amount.
Do you know of a resource I could go to understand or to read about how that would work, or to educate myself on how that elasticity would work in terms of the volume on the network changing and how the fee changes associated with the buy and burn portion of Pulse?
I could possibly find it. I'm gonna have to look when I have some time. But yeah.
No. Don't like. If you just be like, hey Sam, Google this fucking shit, cool. You can point me in the right direction. I'm happy to. If you happen to like take the time to do it, that would be beautiful. But if you're not, like, if you're just like, hey, Sam, Google this kind of shit.
These little things like that I've learned along the way is like partially in a lot of times like it'll be like a long, you know, consensus video, you know, like with like Ethereum researchers about, you know, how it's working. In truth, you don't really need to know. Like, I mean, I literally just like live and talk crypto every day. So like, I just pick these things up. But for like the base user, like you can get rich without ever knowing like the intricacies of like, you know, how gas works. But, you know, just suffice it to say that like in times that it's crazy, like a lot more can be bought and burned than you would think.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not.
Also, shout out to the PulseX bot on Twitter. I've been working with Dev to get that made, and also have a website coming out that's going to be really beneficial to the Pulse community. More details to follow, but yeah.
When that launches, let's come on and we'll talk about the value.
Yeah,
that provides.
Absolutely, yeah. When it gets a little closer, we'll definitely talk.
We'll be in stride by then too, so it'll be
good.
a nice, perfect fit.
Yeah, I stay busy.
This is first of all, thank you, and I agree that 99.9% of people don't need to know any of the shit that I'm asking you about. I'm a weird dude, and I like knowing.
Oh no, I hear you. I mean, obviously, I'm the one like listening to these. That's the only reason I know stuff, because I'm listening to this. Like, you know, I was the guy
you're wrecked, real
Ethereum and stuff like that.
I appreciate it. So yeah. It's fine now. This is the last question, and you or Hex to Learn or even Jim Rat can probably answer this question. So I hear this term node and I hear this term of validator, but I don't know what the difference is between those two. And I think you can stake in either one of those things to make money, but I don't know what the difference is between the two. So I'd like to have some delineation between what a validator is and what a node is. And I'd love to hear any input from anybody.
So essentially, like all of us can run nodes, right? Nodes don't necessarily like validate transactions. They're just like, as I best understand it, it is like the total state of the blockchain, and it's just like, kind of like a reference point, I guess. But the ones that are actually like, and you could do this with like very, very low computational power. Like essentially, you could have I think like a Raspberry Pi or something that is essentially a node. For a validator, you need a real server that costs thousands of dollars a month to validate transactions. So it's a lot more heavy. And if you are running a validator, and I mean, we've looked into it and we're still looking into it. We still want to do it for the network and stuff like that. But it's essentially a full-time job. You have to either like pay an IT person to like keep this thing going. It's a job. Like running a node, it's not like that. And there's no financial benefit for running a node. It's just like for the community.
Support the network.
Yeah, supporting the network.
Think about it like this, Sam. Like the validator is the construction worker and the node is the hammer. Think about it like that.
But there's no financial incentive to be a node. But
there is like you could own a bunch of hammers. But what are you gonna do with hammers? You can only rent out your hammers to be hammered, right? So a node. So validators don't have to necessarily use that hammer. They could use whatever hammer they want. You understand? So a validator could take a bunch of nodes and say, okay, well, group them up and say, well, here I have delegators and like I run the transactions with it. Like I think it's like what you need, like a 32 gig RAM like PC and like a bunch of shit like that. You need something like you need some crazy computational power. So like what was Tendy was saying, like Bullish is trying to do. I think Bullish is trying to run it with like 4 Raspberry Pis like hooked to each other, which is pretty fucking cool. So like
for node or validator?
No, to see if you could run like validation, right? Because the node is just it's like. How do I explain this? Like I'm trying to explain it the best way I could explain it. An example would be like the hammer and the construction worker. Like not everyone could be a construction worker, but everyone can have a hammer, right? It's like you can't be a validator just because you have a node. Like you have to do specific things to be a validator, and the nodes are just nodes, right? So it's like you won't cut a piece of wood with a hammer, So I don't know if analogy helps you a bit.
So the financial incentive for a node is that you basically rent the hammer out to somebody, kind of idea. So you rent out like your system state, as Wendy was saying, like you rent out your system state, or like that the piece of the system that you're capturing or whatever. Because I don't think it's the whole system, because you said that the computational power is not tremendously like overbearing.
If I'm not mistaken, Tendies, the node is where people delegate the coins to, right? And the validator is the person who necessarily takes the nodes and runs the transactions, right?
I think he might be busy or doing.
I don't. Yeah, no. I think actually, like, we should have Huddle Dog speak on this. But as far as I always knew, like the nodes is like the full blockchain and stuff like that, and then like everybody can like reference a node, but the validators are the one that actually like validates transactions. Now, as far as money goes, even the validators are all going to lose money for at least 1 year, probably multiple years though.
So
like
Bob,
it's literally also a labor of love.
Yeah. Bob says validators sign new blocks, nodes scan the blockchain, and store a copy of the history.
Okay, and so
yeah, that's right.
And so is it worthwhile running a node? Like, so a validator kind of makes sense.
Yeah, everybody in the community should run a node. Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, as 100%. Far as the and it's extremely low cost, like validating is a full-time job, like I was saying before, and it's a full-time job for the rich, because you're not going to make any money doing it. So especially for at least a year or so.
What's the benefit of running a node?
It essentially is like making the blockchain like more decentralized, right? You just have like, imagine all of us have nodes all over the world, and it's all like it's basically like like somebody said, like indexing. It's all of us like keeping tabs, you know, on everything that's happening, right? So
It's
so
like
the
you have a
more of
hammer
that
anywhere.
that's
You
going
don't have
on,
to bring
the
your
better.
hammer with you. It's like you're a construction worker. You don't have to ever bring your tools with you. Everyone has tools at every site. You understand? It's like
but there's no
all you need to do is work.
no financial incentive for the
There
average
is though,
person.
because you just
But what
less things to do.
99% of people don't think about what Wendy's just said. 99% of people do not think about that.
Well,
And
because
they're
they don't
not-
know about
they're
it.
not- and
They
they're not
don't
going to
know.
spend their time or their
Well,
energy doing that.
It's
well,
like buying a
listen,
Tesla that can
there's
self-drive itself.
no financial there's no financial incentive even for validators, right? You're doing this because you support the network. Like, have you, like, if you put in money to PulseChain or PulseX, if you care about the community, not everything's about money, man. Like money is
Correct,
great,
correct.
but like also
but you're in a different spot in
you
life
want
than most
to.
people.
Well, yeah,
Correct.
exactly. But
Correct.
what I'm telling
Exactly.
you
But
is that
that's
this node
but
is not
you
going to
give
cost.
that
The node is not. The node's not going to cost you barely any money at all. Like if it costs you less than a Starbucks a month, is that really like is that like hard? You know, like it's not a big deal.
But the
is what I'm
same
saying.
thing with like eating healthy, right? And we know most people don't eat healthy, right? The same thing about the crazy stories people tell themselves and they make up in their mind, right? But people don't even try to like mitigate the crazy stories they tell themselves to find the truth, right? So like the idea.
Well, yeah,
that,
make no mistake. Not everybody's gonna do it. But if you're a true like community member, like anybody on the stream, anybody watching, if they're invested in the community, then they should do it.
100%. 1000%. You're just going to make the network stronger, faster. That's it. You're going to make it easier for the validators to validate nodes. That's it. Validate your transactions. It's going to be easier. It's going to be less painful.
Yeah, and if you put money into this, right? Think about it like this: you invested money into this, or you're putting your hard-earned money into this. Why wouldn't you want more bragging rights for the network, right? So like all of this is just going to benefit your bag more. So you might not directly be getting paid, but all this, like if everybody does it and we have like thousands and thousands of nodes, that is a very good thing for the network, and it's going to help your bags go up in value.
It will, but it's just you won't get that much paid off of it, right? Because you have to understand if everyone gets
No. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying to him. I'm
like
saying to
that.
Sam. I'm saying it to Sam. So Sam, if like obviously it's just like a liquidity pool, right? So if everyone were to put their money in the liquidity pool, well, there would be no percentage of APR, but it would guarantee the price
yield
of the coin. You know what I mean?
There's no yield. It's like me going across the street to the park and I'm picking up trash because I care about the community.
It's not that there's no yield. It's not that there's no yield. It's that everyone's helping everyone. You understand? You're helping everyone.
So I'm trying to understand.
Everyone needs to get paid. Everyone needs to get paid. You understand?
I'm trying to
Everyone needs to
understand
get
the
paid.
yield.
So the yield is just the percentage of how much you did, right? So it's you did that transaction, so you get paid for it. But how many times are you going to do this transaction?
But isn't that a validator?
Yes, but the validator it runs the transactions through the nodes. You understand? Like think about it like this. Like I said, it's a construct. The validator is the construction worker.
So if
the nodes are the hammer. The nodes are the hammer.
If a validator runs a transaction through a node, is that when you're saying it generates yield?
When a validator validates a transaction. So when it signs the thing
you
hey,
just said that a validator runs a transaction with a node. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Right.
So you cannot have a transaction. Yeah.
When it does that,
yeah.
Does that mean that there's some type of financial benefit for that node?
Yeah, because you paid the guy. You just paid the guy the transaction fee. You just paid him. So in order for him to do that transaction, what do you get in return? You get in return the transaction fee or a percentage of that. Depending on what you do.
So nodes get a portion of the transaction, very small, because the validator is doing the most work. Is that what you're saying?
They don't get I think. Is it a constant payout for this node? Because I know other nodes some of them get constant pay. This one, I'm not too sure. Would have to ask people in the chat, but I'm pretty sure he does get paid as a node. But it's not much. It's not like don't expect it to be like. I think it's whatever the validator decides. So if you go and you delegate, well, you could delegate to those nodes to that like validator, and then
I don't think nodes get paid, man. I don't think nodes get paid at all. I think, and I know on a lot of other networks they don't make any money. So I don't think they're going to make any money on PulseChain. But again, I'm not a complete tech expert, so I don't know. But as far as I know, it's just the validators that are getting paid.
Okay, so let me say a couple things real quick.
Bob guys thinks he has a great
Nodes have nothing to do with validation. Jesus
Hold on,
Christ.
real quick. PulseX, its own.
Why
node
not, Bob?
for the
Explain why it does
offline-
have nothing to do with validation.
Say
So if
what?
there was no nodes, what would the validators do?
PulseX has its own node for the offline computation. I have no idea what that means. But a
I wanna hear
validator
what
has
his answer
skin in the
is.
game and consensus authority to sign and add blocks to the chain. A node is a nerfed read-only server that stores a copy of the blockchain.
Yeah, that's essentially how I understood it. It's like I tried to explain before. It's like it's just a list. It's just a full list of the entire blockchain of all the transactions and stuff like that. So the more you have, right? If you have one person in a room that has the list of everybody that's supposed to be at an event, right? Versus you have 1,000 people with that same list, and you can go off of each other. Like, isn't that more decentralized, right? Because everybody has the same list versus a few people. So that's what makes it, from my understanding, more decentralized. But it has nothing to do, again, as far as I understand, with valid. Like, it's literally just and it's a very low cost, from my understanding.
So these
like,
nodes
maybe
don't
it
pay
costs
you.
$5 a month, maybe it costs $10 a month. No, to my
So
knowledge,
these
they don't. No.
they're not. So these nodes are not paying because there are nodes
And
that
to
do
be
pay.
clear, the even the validators, they're going to get paid, but they're going to lose money. They're going to be paying more money to run the servers than they're going to make.
Yeah, that's what I was
Probably.
assuming, because that's from what everyone's saying.
No, it's there's no probably. I'm guaranteeing it, because I can tell you this: like these servers cost thousands of dollars a month, right? And what is the price? What is the price of a transaction? It's a fraction of a pulse. How much is a pulse going to cost? A fraction of a penny. So you're talking about, like, you would need so many transactions to equal like a couple thousands. And not to mention that a lot of these validators, if you look on the testnet, they're giving away most of the return that they're getting.
Wendy's, do you think, because right when we're talking about we're looking at past, right? So we're looking at what takes place on these other things to be validators, these other chains to be validators, and then you change the economics by dropping the cost drastically. So you were talking, or somebody was talking about the elasticity, right? Right. So that fucking shit matters, right? So when you have a say Tesla, for example, if you have like the Model S or Model X and they're 100 grand plus, there's a certain portion of the global population that has the financial capital to purchase a Model S or X. You drop that down to $55,000 for the 3 or Y, and it's not just like, okay, you drop 50%, there's 50% more demand. The demand for Y and 3 more than doubles. It's not just a 50%. So do you see, right? Because we've seen this in economics. Now, if there's go from 55,000 to say a $25,000 EV, right, from Tesla, the demand doesn't just go another 50% up. It goes up by like 3 or 4 or 7 or 12x, because the magnitude of masses at that level, there's way more that's economically feasible at that level.
Right.
So do you see that the volume being stupid from that to compensate for that, so that validators actually do end up earning a return much quicker than what because you're like,
yeah,
hey.
So this is essentially the math, right? Is that, like, okay, so let's say I invested $10 million into PulseChain. Okay, now I'm running a validator that is costing me let's just say $2,000 a month, right? So let's just say, like, it's like, $24,000 a year or so that it's costing me. But I have 10 million invested in PulseChain. So now people can, like, your friend, your grandmother can come on and do transactions for essentially for free, right? Because you put in like $5 and you could do, like, infinite transactions basically. So that is, like, those people coming in and putting their paychecks in and, like, buying the coin is going to make me way more money than the 24,000 that I'm spending, because you're literally
how do the
pumping
nodes
my
not get paid?
bags, and I
I
have
just
$10
don't
million
understand.
worth of
How don't the nodes get paid though? For storing that
I don't
information,
think they
for
get
storing
paid,
that.
is what I'm
But
saying.
I know that the AVAX nodes get paid, the strong blocks nodes get paid, the lightning nodes get paid. I just don't know why wouldn't these guys get paid.
Strong box is nodes per service. So, like, that's
I
literally
understand.
that's literally their entire. That's the entire thing, is like that you, like,
Okay,
set up
so then
nodes
what's
and
the
get
difference
get
between
paid
us and
for those,
AVAX?
but it's completely different.
So what's the difference between us and AVAX?
Honestly, I don't know enough. I don't know enough
I'm
about
not
AVAX
trying to go against you. I'm just saying it would be good to know because I'm just doing
No,
research.
I
And
know. I'm just
I
saying.
know
Hey,
for a
I'm
fact
just saying.
everyone's
I
saying
honestly have no
notes
idea.
don't get paid in the chat, and I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? I've gotten paid
That's
for
honestly,
my notes.
it's a good question
okay.
for like David or Huddle Dog. You know,
No,
Hey,
they probably know
I know
more
the
about the
Jim Rat.
technical specs.
Jim Rat, listen to what Wendy's just said. Can you repeat those names, please, Wendy's?
Huddle Dog. Yeah, I'll message him.
Huddle
Yeah,
Dog's
David
amazing.
Feeder, both of them, and both of them. Yeah, and Huddle Dog. No, I mean Huddle Dog's a master of IT. I mean,
Pay for K,
he's been in the IT game.
Well, there's also
but the thing
Bob
is
knows a lot of shit like
first
that
of
too.
all, like Huddle Dog has his own IT company. He's been in IT forever, and he has a validator, and he helps David Feeder, so he's like the top guy to talk to. But David Feeder also does know a good amount.
That's cool. Okay, so you were saying though a moment ago.
If I have a question, I usually ask one of them.
Thank you for the information. No, I
on how
that.
to pulse, it says 75% of the fees are going to validators and 25% is getting burned. That's what it says on how to pulse article.
Yeah, then we were talking about that. Yeah, okay, thank you.
I'm just checking. I'm just looking it up right now as we speak. So,
but that's that's the fault. That's in terms of they're going to validators, right? To 75% of the fee on Pulse is going to validators. 25% is getting burned. Now you were mentioning running a validator, right? It's costing you $24,000 a year, roughly. Right? We get that, right?
Right.
And
yep.
Are you not thinking that the volume is going to be high enough to compensate for that, or
no, it's definitely not, and that especially not in the first year. Maybe like down the road it will be, but again, it doesn't matter because like, what do I care if I'm paying 25? Let's just say I'm paying 50. Let's double it. Let's say I'm paying 50,000, but like enough people have come in and are using PulseChain to increase the price of Pulse 100%. Well, and now I just made $10 million. So why the fuck do I give a shit about $50,000, right? That's essentially like, because the people who are doing the validating have the most Pulse. You have to have a lot of Pulse to validate, right?
That's a game. That's the game for it, right? In order to be a validator, you need to have the most amount of hacks or most amount of Pulse to stake. Is that accurate? Or
also, it makes the people with a lot of money. It makes the people with a lot of money say, like, I just need to do it. Like, I just need to do it because or else no one's going to do it. I need to do it. Fuck it. I'll do it because I'm not going to make money at the end of the day if I don't. And that's how some of them feel.
Right.
Like I know.
Wendy's has mentioned that he's thinking about it. So he's probably mentally in a different spot than we are. Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. I appreciate
but for him in the long term, for his like, how do I say his portion, it's like it's in his like advantage to just make this the best place ever.
That's what he's saying. Yes.
Right. So like, what it comes down to, like, obviously I know it's going to lose money and stuff. Where I'm at and where, like, the people I would do it with are at, like, my company is, we want to see more decentralization. We think that's better if we can get, now again, I'm not an IT person, so we'd either have to hire somebody or like outsource it and stuff. So we're still in like talks about all that. And we, like I said, we're building other stuff. So it's kind of a lot right now. It's just a lot on our plate, but it is something in the back of our heads. And like, if the network needs it, of course, we're going to step up to the plate and do it. If other people want to do it, then that's totally fine too. But, if the network needs it, we're going to step up and, help it become more decentralized. And I think a lot of people should, if you have, a decent slice of the network, you obviously want to see it do well, right?
Yeah, no.
If I had the money to support the network, like if it just made sense for me, like I would do it the second that made sense for me to do it. But obviously, it's not would be my priority. Clearly.
Well, you're providing value in a different form than Wendy's is providing value because we're just at different stages in the journey, and he's just at a different spot. Like,
Wendy's is one of the guys that let me know how it was for him when he started, and he made me feel like one of the bros.
Thank you for doing that, and thank you for coming on and sharing your information, Wendy's.
You're killing it. It's sick.
Wendy's, I had asked you a question last time we chatted. I think it was last time. I think we've chatted several times, but one of those times you had referenced a podcast that you had turned to in the past to get information. And I wrote that down and I lost that piece of paper. So I've got my phone in front of me with my podcast app open. And if you could share the name of that again, that would be fantastic because I'm going to add that to my subscriber list so I can remember it this time.
Yeah, it is. Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank right
Davis
now?
Peter and
It's
Hot Dog.
I think you said it was related
it's
to Ethereum.
Bankless.
Okay.
Yeah, Bankless.
Cool. Thank you, sir. That was I was looking for the piece of
No
paper
problem.
and I couldn't remember where I wrote it down, so I was like, okay, you were here, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, more specifically, the episodes with Hasu, the Ethereum researcher, were just so good.
Cool, awesome.
And they're multi-hours long, and you will definitely nerd out on them.
I'm afraid of this, Sam. Just record yourself nerding out, and just your eyes, just like you're doing that like the whole time.
Oh man, you have to be my girlfriend, and I'm like learning the weirdest shit, like related to.
I'll listen to stuff.
Go ahead.
I listen to that kind of stuff, and like you ever seen the memes where like there's all like the numbers and like algorithms like floating around the people's heads? Like that's how I feel. I'm like, oh shit, oh my god, I'm in the ether. What's going on?
right.
It's not my thing, you know. I'm a fundamentalist, like, and you know, I understand like game theory and stuff like very well, but like as far as like the deep tech stuff, like I only know, you know, a lot of it just from like osmosis of just being around, you know, like crypto and hearing like, you know, people way smarter than me talk about consensus algorithms and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it's not something I ever like really researched too much, other than just listening to like smart heads in the space talk about it. So
that's what I'm doing here by talking to you. So thank you, because I get to learn what you're sharing, and to me that is valuable. Like there's something called a CFA, so it's kind of like a CPA if you're in the United States. I don't know if CPA is an international thing, but it's kind of like a CPA, but like multiple times harder than that, and it's a CFA. So when I was getting that, I would learn about some cool, awesome shit, and it's very, very like quant or like numbers based, right? And or like statistics and a lot of that kind of stuff. And I would learn something in there and I would get so excited and try to like tell my girlfriend at the time, and her eyes would just like glaze over because I'm so excited about this weird nuance related to like how things might be calculated with an
That's
exchange.
my entire life. It's like me passionately saying things to people and them just being like, I don't care. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me go back to the internet.
Well, like it is true that like lay people don't care except for the things that matter to them, right? So like one of my friends hits me up. She says, "Hey, I see like, you know, like Hex has dipped, you know, and it's like 12 cents is like, you know, a little while ago." She was like, "But the fees are so expensive. Like, when is PulseChain coming out? You know, what like she even said, she's like, what about people like me? You know, like, do we not get to participate in, you know, like the future of finance?" And I'm like, oh man, it sucks, you know. But that's exactly why PulseChain is coming. So like, you know, essentially whales are going to eat fees, right? We're going to eat the cost to bootstrap the network. You know, people like Hodl Dog and stuff. Yes. They're going to eat these fees to bootstrap the network to get people in, right? And if you imagine you were not anybody of means, you know, when Ethereum launched, right? Ethereum was like 35 cents or something at the ICO. And let's just say you got a bag of ETH, right? You got like 500 ETH or something like that. So not very much, right? In the sense that like at the dollar time, you know, the dollar amount at the time was very, very low. So that ETH is enough now to essentially use Ethereum forever. So you're not priced out, you know? So like, you know, if anybody is interested, any one of your friends, anyone in your family is interested, you know, getting in a PulseChain at the launch, essentially they're going to be able to accumulate an amount of PulseChain that lets them participate on that network for probably the life of the network, right? Now, if they wait until PulseChain does a 10,000x, right, then of course they're going to have to start thinking about, you know, like fees and stuff like that. And even if it 10,000x is like, the fees are still going to be minuscule, but like, you know, the fact is that if they get in the first few months, they're going to be able to get an amount that they just never have to even think about transaction fees, which is awesome.
Yeah. For the same point of like, it's 35 cents and you get 500 ETH, right? That, whatever, that's $150, $300 or something, right? Like anybody can do that, so to speak. I completely agree. Wendy's,
yeah.
Your talking made me remember the conversation that RH had the other day where he was talking about something in terms of the volume related to Pulse right? The fees, the gas fees, right? And he's like, oh, it's 4 times faster because the blocks is 13 versus 3 or whatever the fucking numbers are.
Right.
Okay. If the fees are so much lower, the volume is going to be higher over time. You would think, right? That's what you would believe. My question is, and I reached out to Richard right after he did that because I was like, okay, well, I see that crossing that bridge at that time. Is Pulse Chain capable of being upgraded to allow for higher throughput? Right, because if you're just solving a problem for a temporary time, then okay. So you can upgrade Pulse.
Okay. Here. It is solving a problem temporarily, because guess what? The fees can go exponential on Pulse Chain too. But guess what happens? Like, you just do the same thing again, where you just like, now he's, instead of forking Ethereum, he's forking Pulse Chain. But this could be like 10 years down the road, right? Like, so it's not, and then guess what? Then Sam, the Pulse Chain whale, at that point, 10 years from now, you're going to get all of your Pulse Chain copied, and you're going to be able to probably sacrifice for the new network. So it's like, you just keep rolling the money into more money.
Is this how the richest men in the world are made? Yes.
That's the way it's going. That's the way it's going. So yeah, it like, people think, oh, it's Ethereum killer, it's this, it's that. It's like, no, these things are going to consistently upgrade over time. And even Richard has said that. Oh, when he said the fees are going to go up, and it's only a matter of time. And if it gets to a point where it's like, it really is unusable, boom, you fork it again. Now, this is the thing, like, Vitalik could essentially make Ethereum way cheaper, by doing some of these things, and he doesn't. So why he doesn't, maybe it's because they're not fully proof of stake yet, and so there's still the miners involved. I don't know. I don't have the answer, but there is things that you can do by, essentially, I heard somebody else talk about this, where it's like, you basically, if you 10,000x the Ethereum, right, like a stock split, everybody has the same amount of money. They just have more coins. Correct. And so if you have more coins, you could essentially like do more transactions and stuff. So it's, I'm sure the transaction, like at that point, the transactions on Ethereum would get expensive because everybody has more ETH and they're doing more transactions, but people would still essentially be able to transact more than they can now. Because if the price of a transaction is $100, then because it's the X amount of Ethereum, yeah.
Instead of $1,000,
exactly. You're just moving decimal points. But again, then the miners or validators aren't making as much money. So then that's the problem with that. But we're seeing, and I mean, again, we'll especially see over time. But there is still incentive, more so than even just validating transactions in this kind of proof of stake network, where like the people who are validating have the biggest bags, and so they just want people to come over and use it and buy and do monthly DCAs, whatever, because the cumulative amount of those is going to raise their net worth more than if they were just making like 5,000, 10,000 a month in validation fees.
So Pulse Chain, the 4x throughput cannot be upgraded. It has to be forked, or at least that's your current understanding of how is that accurate?
I think technically he could do some kind of like layer 2 thing, but from like his own words, it sounded like he would probably just fork it.
Oh, okay. What about that thing, like, have you heard about like Solana and how they do the proof of history or something like that? And the throughput of them is like the aggregate of MasterCard and Visa, supposedly, is their claim. It's different
when it works.
Yeah. But I'm sure
regularly it does beat it, because Visa is like what, 1,400 TPS, and like they're usually beating it with like 1.7. But like as soon as they claim to hit like 3,000, they always break down. There's a breakdown that happens in like their major validators.
But we're looking
at like they claim 400,000. It's like.
But we're looking at Solana as is. Like, if somebody like Richard took Solana, they're not gonna let that fucking shit happen, right? They're gonna test it, and they're gonna.
Ethereum didn't break when it was at 50 billion. That's what people don't understand. Ethereum didn't break when it was at a market cap of 50 billion. It didn't break. It was good. It just didn't. Nothing broke. Yeah. Nothing was down. Nothing needed it. It was once it hit like 150, 200. That's when it hit like.
Well, also, like, I don't know if you're asking like why he doesn't like fork Solana or whatever, but like also like Solana is like mostly owned by venture capital, and so that could be a reason why. But I mean, just in general, like forking EVMs works. I mean, it's been proven, and I mean, if we have half of the use of like BSC, then everyone in here is going to be multi-millionaires. You realize like BSC is still up, like even from the dip, like 10,000x.
Yeah,
right?
No, I'm like brand new.
Yes,
so I don't.
it's still in the hundreds. It's still in 300. It went up to 600. Exactly what Tendy says. It was at like $2-3, and it was like the biggest thing in crypto for exchanges. And then all of a sudden, boom, 20, 30, 40, $40. Then once it hit like $50, then it was like, holy shit, 165. And then people were like, okay, yeah, let's invest in Binance.
That was my biggest L. That was my biggest L was not buying any, because I mean, even at 20, I was like, oh, this fucking shit's like, this is terrible,
No, my biggest was selling Luna at fucking.
What do you guys think about
I saw
what
Luna.
Richard
I
said
saw
on
Luna at
stream?
fuck all, man. I had Luna at fuck all, and I sold it at like, I was like, I'm good with a 20x. Fuck this coin. It's not gonna do much.
Good question. What do you guys
think about what Richard said on stream about Pulse in 30 days? Let's give some of the people some of what they want, because I did write on the thumbnail.
I think it's possible, man. The fucking Pulse chain works.
It's definitely
fucking
possible.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, give us your scenario. What's potential? What are the two things we're waiting for? And Sam also wants clarification on: is the AMM fixer bot something that's difficult, or like, is it something that's more fundamental, or is it something that's rather difficult? Because I have no fucking clue.
No, it sounds pretty fucking difficult, honestly.
Yeah, it does.
Like from a coding perspective, like I'm glad it's not me.
I think it's because it's a one-shot deal.
Wendy's, if you put this into perspective, the AMM relative to the entire Pulse chain, difficulty-wise, the Pulse chain is going to be far more difficult than AMM. Would that be an accurate statement? If intuition,
I would say no. I would say no, and I'll tell you why. Because it's mostly a copy paste, versus the AMM is something that's never been done before, so it's building from the ground up. Anytime you have to build something from scratch, like, okay, I'm not an artist, right? But if you put something in front of me and I have like a reference to go off of, it's gonna even if I'm a shitty artist, it's still gonna come out. And you're like, oh yeah, I could see that, right? If I say, hey Sam, paint X, Y, or Z, and you're not an artist, like you're looking at shit, you're like, what the, like, oh my god, this is just a blank canvas. Like, where do I start? It's much harder to build from scratch than it is to copy and then just tweak, tweak this or tweak that.
Agree, but on the one hand, it's also easier because you're starting with a fresh slate and you have an idea of what you want. You don't have to drag all the garbage along. Okay.
Well, to nail this home, so how I can prove it to you using Richard's own words, he said that making Hex was way harder than PulseChain. Why? Because Hex was made from scratch. Yeah. Hex was all unique. It was all brand new.
Yeah, but one shot with Hex. You don't have a one shot with the code. When you're doing the EVM has happened. The forking of the EVM has happened multiple times. The AMN has a one shot. You have a one shot.
No, I get that. So
that's the hardest part.
If what you're saying is accurate, though, then what that would imply that there could be several more months, and that doesn't seem to line up with the verbiage.
Oh, they're absolutely there.
Right, because
I'll tell you this: the lead dev said in November that it could come out. It could come out in November, and what month are we in now? So, I mean, just because somebody says something doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to happen. Yeah, who knows?
I just think, listen, if there's already the test net, and we had already a second test net to make sure that it worked properly, I don't know, man. It's unless something dramatically happens on the test net.
1 to 10, like with 10 being like it's definitely fucking happening in the next 30 days.
It's definitely fucking happening. It's definitely fucking happening before
in the next 30 days. In the next 30 days. We're not.
Not definitely.
Let me finish. Where 1 means it's not fucking happening in the next 30 days in terms of the probabilities in single digits, where 1 is not 100% probability. Where do you feel? Both of you guys.
4.
4? Was that Wendy's?
No, I'm probably around a 4. Honestly, I don't know, but I would not be surprised if it took till June. Honestly,
cool.
Yeah, me too. I mean, but I don't think it'll take more than the summer.
I don't think 1 year,
more than the summer, in my opinion, unless something happens.
I think it'll be in the summer. Yeah.
Okay.
And
No,
if it
I'm
does,
asking-
guess what? That's
Max,
then
like if
good.
something happens now, it's like they need to fix something and it's not working out. Like, okay, well, we just have to see why it's like what would happen. Then maybe the end of summer. But like even at that, for what we have and like what you're able to go right now and go do, it's there.
Oh yeah, it's you know
there.
it's there.
Most of it's there. It's like
working
why
and
would
stuff like that.
we don't need our balances, right? We don't need to have a thing to check our balances. What the fuck do you need that for an ecosystem? You don't. It's just for our own our ego, right? So that we don't need. The AMM we do want it because it'll help us.
I think it's more than likely. It's more than likely the fact that like he's still working on stuff, and so he's like, well, might as well come out with this thing that like helps people check their balance. You know what I mean? Because like there's only so many people that are working on, you know, X, Y, or Z in a project. Like when you have like a dev team, there's certain people that work on certain things. So you already got the people working on the AMM thing. So you have all these other devs, and so the other devs are like, okay, well, work on this, work on this, work on this.
Yes, and it would be interesting to learn about the project as you build that thing out for the, like you said, it's going to be helpful to the ecosystem, Wendy's. So that'll be interesting to hear about how you walk through that process. But much more on a selfish level for this question, how do you get, like, what is the idea behind PulseX? How do you get that into your wallet? Or Pulse, like I don't have Pulse, right? Like I fucking got in 45 days ago, right? So I didn't get into Pulse. So how do I get Pulse X when it comes out? Is it just like
I got you, bro?
No, but like I know, but
So-
but like how do I claim or like how do I get these stuff? So I sacrifice for Pulse X, right?
It'll be.
How do I get that?
If you sacrifice, then it'll be.
Oh, you mean
it'll
you
be in your wallet?
sacrificed?
I
Yes,
did
but
like
It'll
the
be in the
play
wallet
over.
that you sacrificed from.
When you click over to the PulseChain browser on MetaMask, you will have the coins in your wallet.
Oh, just to start. That's the you don't have to do something like
everyone on the Ethereum
Sam,
network.
tomorrow morning,
coin.
why don't we do that tomorrow morning? Me and you will do us three and we'll practice.
Yeah.
Get on your computer and we'll
Please.
practice on live. And
Okay,
I'll show you.
that-
and I'll
The first hour,
That's perfect.
the first hour where the Power City dude is coming in,
after.
and then after we'll go straight into the test.
Or tomorrow night or
And
whatever.
then,
Because
for
now we're at
example,
night.
We'll talk
for
about
example, if you have Ethereum in there, it will turn into Pulse, and you'll have enough to transact.
Yeah.
Even though it'll be like
You
minuscule
need 10
amounts,
bucks.
like even
You
one
need
ETH,
10
right,
bucks.
would be like nothing. Yeah, exactly. Like it'll
Like
still,
10
you
bucks,
know,
bro.
because
Not
the
even.
transactions will be so cheap, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep $10, not even 5. It's like as long as you have 2 zeros in front of whatever you have, you're good. Because it's like 4 zeros, 5 zeros to do transactions.
So you can put in 90 cents and you've got like hundreds of transactions basically.
It
you
doesn't
know,
make
kind
sense.
of
You have millions. You have a millionth of a cent to transact. Literally, if you look at it.
Well, essentially, yeah, you would have that, assuming the price doesn't go up, which it will, and
Yeah,
assuming
well,
like demand doesn't
yeah.
go up, which it will.
Well, fuck, man.
Because even Matic, I had enough Matic to have like thousands of transactions, and then I remember when it went to like from thousands of transactions to like 30. So
Yes,
the same thing will happen.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, I
it's
can't
so-
wait for that.
Oh,
I
yes,
can't wait
have
for that.
millions of transactions.
I can't wait for that.
Well, yeah,
though.
that's the
I'm
best
sorry.
part, right?
$1 pulse, 10 cent
There's-
pulse.
So there's two things that affect the
Yeah,
price
that's the
of
best
the
part.
transaction, right? There's two things that affect the price of the transaction. The price of the underlying thing, in this case Pulse, and the volume on the network. Is there anything else that affects the price of a transaction other than the price of Pulse and the number of transactions?
The congestion.
No.
Well,
Which
yeah,
would be
I
Well,
guess
yeah, but that's
yeah,
like
never
that's
mind.
what he's saying. Like that's the
Yeah.
volume. Yeah,
Is that accurate? Like I want to make sure I know that for myself.
correct.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I think that's perfect to Hex to learn to put that for tomorrow morning. I gotta go make some dinner. I hope everybody's enjoyed this. I know I enjoyed this. I hope Wendy's you will come on again and share more of your awesome knowledge. Thank you
definitely.
for this. This is fantastic. Hex to
My
learn. I
pleasure.
know we didn't get into it.
Oh, but
tonight,
it's good. We're
tomorrow.
talking all the time, man.
Hey,
It's perfect, man. we end this for the next 30 years, bud.
We're
Enjoy
live
it.
every day. Yeah, I was gonna say we're live every day, baby.
Every day, man.
We're full time, baby.
Yeah. every night, every day. Jim Red, I finally convinced him, so his channel's gonna be on, guys. You got to thank me for that. So, but Jim Red, honestly, good job, man. Good job, man.
Thanks, dude. I'm
It's
trying
good to
my
see
best.
you at night, man. I feel like it's the morning. No, guys, I don't know in the chat. What do you guys think? Like,
Well, that's
it's
'cause you
funny
don't
to
get
see
up so
Sam
good.
in the dark. It's funny to see Sam in the dark.
Hey,
like
heck
it's
to learn. You want to go into the test net?
right now? Oh, I
Yeah.
have to fix that. Oh, my light. Yeah, I could do that now if you want to. I don't mind.
Sorry,
Okay.
Sam. I don't
No, you're good. You get in there, and then that's perfect because I'm gonna go make some dinner. And
I can
have
teach
it.
you tomorrow. Don't worry about it. It's good.
Perfect.
I'm here to
Wendy's, thank you for your time. GRC, I'll talk to you later.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
my
just
pleasure.
so happy with the progress Sam made with Wendy's that I can capitalize on.
That was
Because
golden.
I got to talk to you guys about all the shit you were talking about. I had no fucking clue what y'all were talking about half the time.
Just rewatch. It's easier when you're not like hosting, right? It's easier
Oh
when
no,
you're
yeah,
listening.
like, I'm doing a few things at once too. So
Yeah.
For you, so what the advantage for me is that GRC does the like I can't focus on that shit and try to have a conversation with Wendy's because then I'm focusing on that shit. So GRC focuses on that
Right.
stuff, which is important and it's valuable, and he's interacting with that, which is gold because that's part of the community. But I want to understand what's going on. And GRC and I will talk 3 or 4 times throughout the day when we're not on live. So like, hey, this is what I like. Give perspective on like the conversation because he's missing little bits and pieces because he's interacting with the community. So this for me is fucking perfect.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
he's
because
great at that.
Sam was my life coach, and I know him so intimately. Like I just know his strengths and weaknesses so intimately that this was so naturally formed. I was like, let me do what I'm good at. I'm just a social butterfly. I just like to learn and be like open. And you are just like, let's hammer this fucking subject until we puke. But it's good because in crypto, when we get these guys on that are half stepping, like Wendy's comes on here and you just know there's no half stepping because of the way he speaks. He just knows what he's talking about. But other people come on and they won't come on here with you unless they know what the fuck they're doing, because you'll just dig into it until they're like, oh, well, I don't have an answer. So that's a fair warning. Fair warning to every Furu out there. Be afraid of Sam Stolt. in the same chat as you, because you will get exposed so quickly because he just cuts the fat right out of it. Like he's like, I don't care about you, Richard Hart, Hex, anything. What the fuck is going on? Like,
yeah, you'll probably see some people in the green room dropping out. They're like, oh hell no.
Yeah, like these Power City guys, when you come on tomorrow, like, please drink your coffee before. Please bring your coffee before, because Sam is going in. But fair shake to everyone. Sam is just a learner.
I'm not buying it.
He's gonna be teaching before long.
Yeah. Wendy's and everybody here, thank you for anybody in the chat too. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Bon appetit, man.
Later, bro.
Get some food. God, man, this whole dynamic between me and Sam is getting wild. It's like he is so good at what I am exactly not good at. Like what he can digest from Wendy's in 30 minutes would take me about 3 hours to digest. So it's just a perfect combo because I'm really good at I'm friendly and like to hang out with a lot of guys. And so that sounded gay as fuck. But
nice.
Yeah, I'm friendly and like to hang out with a lot of guys. That's me. No, but thank you, Wendy's. My God, you just like fucking got him so much further in his thought process. It was ridiculous. Now, as far as the testnet, Wendy's, is that something that you take your time in particular, as someone who has so much experience with crypto, or is that something that is more for like guys like me that have no fucking clue what they're doing?
Like I said, I'm happy to come on anytime I can provide value. So,
fuck yeah.
Well, I mean, we're at almost $500 million in the PLSX pool. I know it's fake money, but still peaching out 46% at $500 million.
Now, what does that mean? As far as, just tell me what that means.
Well, because it was at 10% with only 300.
Represents the amount of people that would potentially be using the network, right? Because they are the ones using the testnet.
Yeah,
if you're
it's
using
just how it's
testnet,
going to
are
play
you
out.
technically probably
the
using the regular one?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's just like to test it out, right? And like someone who knows how to do it, like you want to like, send them errors and stuff, like when they're doing stuff, and it's just you get errors. Like right now, there's none, but I got errors, and like you want to like screenshot it, send it to them. There was a spot that you could have, I forget where, you could have submitted requests and stuff. But now everything's working. And to be honest with you guys, I know there's nothing here, but I started with like $2 in here and like $3 in here. I started with $4 in here, so it's like, look at that, 3x. This did like 7x. This did like a 5x. Like this is
And
like
is
a
it
week
doing
ago.
it just from the natural volume and trading action from
Yeah,
the
just
that are
people
using
just
the
training
testnet?
it. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
let's go check out like the parodies, right? So
And this could just be a small fraction.
this could not be exactly what's going to happen, but still, like, look at the price.
Could
Like,
be less.
if we were to look at the price of this, so one PLS would cost you 0.0056. Everyone here would have 56x.
It's gonna be so disgusting.
It's gonna be disgusting, man.
Like we're just gonna be calling.
Oh, okay. Here you would have just you would have 17x. Oh, too bad. Oh, such a shame. Okay, let's go see Hex, guys. Like I know it's not the real price, but I'm just saying, guys. Like look what it does, because it was worthless at one point, and now this is worth 95 cents. You know, this thing went to $10. Now it's clean. How much is an ETH? Just to make you guys understand, like one ETH is $269.
I'm such
But
a noob.
if we go check USDC, it's paired. USDC is paired. It's cool, man. I like to see this stuff, because this is like what's gonna happen. And now you look at it. So like yesterday when we were looking at the stuff, or 2 days ago, it was at 2.43 the ratio. Right now it's at 3.27. Like what a difference, no? So I don't know. I just like looking at the testnet and fucking around with it. And still to this day, man, CRO is the only one with its fucking logo. BNB doesn't have a logo. FTX doesn't have a logo. KCS doesn't have a logo. The only motherfucker with a logo, CRO. Read between the lines, people. Enjoy.
Yeah, hopefully CRO is the exchange. I think that would be good.
That would be dope. I would be very happy personally.
All right, Jim Grant, I gotta hop off. I gotta eat, but yeah, we'll get up again.
Take care, man.
Shout out to the chat. Later, boys.
What's your question, man?
Did Wendy's just dip and I didn't even say bye?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, Wendy's. I did not mean to not say bye to you. Thank you so much for all that fucking gold you just spit to Sam. That takes a lot of effort off my ass, because Sam is relentless asking me questions like that. And I'm literally like, please stop asking me. Hey, I'm going to give you an opportunity to run. I'm going to watch this all over anyway. I have to run to the gas station. Can you just fuck around with the testnet and commentate?
Yeah, I could go with the testnet. I could show people the stuff.
Do
I could
whatever
actually.
you want.
Okay, let the chat. What does the chat want? Does the chat want me to test out the PulseX, or you guys want me to show you the different ways to like stake the hex and shit, and like test out Hadron and stuff like that? Up to you guys. What does the chat want? Let's go. I give you guys like a minute.
Chat, guys. Here, let's zoom into on our faces before we go. Hey, we're going to the chat, guys. Famous is one of my best friends in the hex community.
I love him, man.
True. He is a testnet master. He's just like me. He's an absolute freak of nature. And
they call me the Italian Tupac. Give me a second.
He's the Italian Tupac. Guys, first of all, let me take an intermission. I have been digesting information as much as I can while I'm reading the chat. I'm going to watch this all over and make some clips. If you're here and you've never watched me or this stream, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like. I am here every single day covering the newest in Hex, PulseChain, separate stuff, separate things that people are building on top of PulseChain. I'm covering it as fast as I fucking can. And I have Sam here every morning dissecting information, guys. please hit the subscribe button. This is literal fucking high value shit. And I'm making sure it is. It's my life mission to make this as high value as possible. I don't care about money. I don't care about that shit right now. I want to do this for myself so I can learn as fast as possible and I can develop myself as fast as possible. Please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. I have to run to the gas station really quick. I'm so not sorry because Hex to Learn, one of my best bros, is going to show you the testnet alpha McThundercock testnet shit. So just absolutely,
let's go.
I am grateful for the friends I have in this community because they provide value constantly. They wake up in the morning and they say, how can I do better? They're not perfect. I'm not perfect, but we get better together, guys. Let's fuck with the testnet.
Let's go.
I'm going to go to the gas station real quick. I'll be back in 5 to 7.5 minutes. Actually, 10 minutes because I have to walk because I have no fucking car.
Yep. So put the. So what's up, guys? Okay, cool. So I saw in the chat everyone's like everything, this, that, staking. So we'll start it off from the beginning. So if you guys want all the links and you guys want to tag along on the video of Hex to Learn, my recent video, I show you guys how to use the DApp. But there's basically all the links. You could go on Twitter, Richard's tweet. I don't know if he has it pinned up, but if not, you could go ahead. I'll go and retweet it now. So it's retweeted. Give me a second. So I'm not even signed. Am I signed in? Yeah, I'm signed in. Perfect. I'm going to retweet it live. So it's retweeted. So you could go ahead. So we're going to test everything out. We're going to start off with the PulseNet and we're going to test out the bridge. So we'll show you guys the bridge at the same time. And please, sorry if I can't change the screen or if I can't do nothing. I don't have control of the stream, but I appreciate everyone. Everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video for our boy Jim Rat GRC, and go follow Sam, go follow Wendy's for Tendies. Okay, so now we're in the testnet, right? So you could always go on the Rinky B faucet. So actually, let's go ahead and do that since I'm able to, because I haven't claimed in a long time. So we'll go on the Richard site. He has the faucet here, so we could get this. We'll claim 10 PLS. Fucking useless, but okay, cool. Then we're gonna go on. I think it's rinkybfaucet.com. Then we're gonna put our ETH address in the faucet. Boom. When you get this like thing that draws down, then you know it worked. You got to click it maybe a couple of times. So on the testnet, we're gonna go ahead and switch. So we're gonna switch to the Rinky B testnet. If you guys don't have the testnet in your MetaMask, I'll show you how to do it. Give me a second. So you're going to go in your settings, networks. No, sorry, wait. Your general. No, where is it? Yeah, so you're going to go in your advanced, and in advanced, you're going to click show test networks. So like that, it shows you the test networks, and then you're going to get the Rinky B test network. So as you can see, I received the ETH. So I'm going to have ETH here. So I'm going to go ahead and bridge over ETH. So I do have ETH, right? So it would be as an example, as if we were to have, we could transfer over our Hex and on our ETH. So we'll transfer over our ETH. Let's go ahead and do that. 0.2. We're going to get that. You see the fee, how much you pay for the bridge, which is wonderful. And please, guys, let me know if I am going too fast, because I do that. So we're going to click send. I'm going to confirm the transaction. Remember to confirm the transaction. It's going to take some time. So in the meantime, guys, while we do this, remember that you might not have the coins saved. So if you want to go ahead and get the contract addresses for the coins, all you would need to do is come in here. All you would need to do is come at the bottom, manage tokens. You see the Pulse bridge, this little, let me go zoom in for you guys. So you could zoom in. You see here this little handle here. You click this and you click C. And then it brings you to the web page of list of tokens, where you have all the addresses of the tokens that you could put in. So let's zoom out on this. It's going to give people a headache. Back to the bridge. It says 2 out of 3 Rinky testnet block confirmations. We're almost done. So usually what you would do, because you would have bridged over ETH, you would go ahead and copy the ETH wrapped ether on PulseChain, right? ETH. And then you would come back here. We would add it. I think we need to execute the transaction if I'm not mistaken. Perfect. So it's confirmed. Cancel that. So what we would do is that now that it's confirmed, we close it. We could check the transactions. We see here that it has been claimed. Wonderful. So we could go back to the PulseNet. We could switch and connect our wallet. It'll ask us to switch the network. We switch. Then in the network, what you would do, technically I've already done it, but you would go ahead at the bottom here. You would click import token and you would copy paste the address and it would automatically populate and say ETH. It says here our token has already been added, obviously. So that's cool. So we got our ETH. Let's go check. Where is it? It's right here. So we have it. So we could go ahead and swap ETH for anything we want. So let's go ahead and swap for some PLSX. 0.1, that's cool. $15,000, $27. Not that bad. Well, for you guys, it might be horrible, but for me, I'm not gonna lie. From the last time I was doing it, it wasn't that bad. So let's go ahead and confirm the transaction. 0.001 PLS. Oh, it's getting more expensive, guys. It's getting more expensive. Remember, when you do transactions, you could always add the token to your MetaMask. Wait for the transaction receipt. Always, you usually get a red or an orange one, a red or a green one. Sorry. So you could always go check, right, the transaction. The transaction is pending confirmation, as we see here, 11% block indexed. Here, your transaction would be confirmed, so we could give it some time. So the most important thing about the Pulse X DApp, guys, I don't know if you guys are aware about it. There's the swap, which is pretty cool. You have the expert mode. Fast. You could technically send the swap to an address. So when you swap, you could have it sent to one of your addresses or someone else, which is pretty cool. You have your disable multi hoops, which is, if you look at the bottom of the page, hold up. Actually, let me remove this. If you look at the bottom of the page here, you see ETH to PLS to PLSX. You could directly have it sent. So do you see the difference that it gives you? So it gives you 15,220 PLSX if we don't disactivate it. If we activate it, it gives us less. So that sometimes helps the pair or it doesn't. It's really dependent. Don't use this option if you don't know, but it's pretty cool to know that it's there. You could change, the transaction speed, the slippage. That's basically normal. Okay, farms. So in the farms, you have the basic PLSX PLS farm. That's the one we wanted to purchase. We could go ahead and purchase some USDC PLS for after. We'll do that after. So let's go ahead and create liquidity. So we're going to click liquidity here, trade. We're going to add liquidity. So we're going to put PLSX. So usually what I like doing is that it's usually the one at the bottom that I like clicking this, so it gives me automatically what I'm going to need on top. So at the bottom on the top, so you see that it usually gives you the same amount, which is important to understand about liquidity pairs when you provide. And this is why you end up getting permanent loss, because remember, this ratio has to stay constant. If the ratio changes, you either win or you lose. Remember that always. So we're going to have to supply it. Now, when we do liquidity, there's always 2 times you have to confirm, not just once. So be careful about that. We're going to confirm. Oh. So when you do that, I did not have to click twice because I already approved. So remember, when you click approve, you have to click approve and then supply. So always look and read what it says, because I actually thought I would have to have done it twice. I had to do it once. So I guess it keeps your approvals. It's pretty fucking cool. Awesome. So we got the token. As we see here, the LP in your wallet. We have the LP in the wallet. It tells me how much of the share of the pool I have also, which is pretty cool. So let's go back to the farms. We're going to go ahead and, I didn't want to harvest. Nope, I don't want to harvest. Reject. Perfect. So I'm going to click the plus button so I could add, my LPs. I'm going to confirm it. Yeah, maybe Crow guys. I'll show it to you after why I think and whatever. It could be just just a coincidence that the logo's there, but I'll show you guys after. So it has been confirmed that the stake, it's in the farm, and as we do see that the farm has been, the value, and you see that the tokens went in. So that's pretty cool. Now let's go into pools and earn some more. Oh, PRT, right? Some party token, some third party token. So I don't like it. I don't like it horizontally like this. I like it like this. This makes it's so much nicer. I don't know about you guys, what you guys think, but I'm gonna go ahead. How much? Oh, we used everything. We don't have any more. My bad. So yeah. So then what I would need to do is come here, click, all my PLSX, confirm. I could get PLSX like right now. I need it. So I'm like, oh, hey, cool. Let me get it. So I could put 1,000 here. Firm swap. I'm gonna change. We're gonna get ETH. Hex. We'll swap for some hex. We could always add it to the MetaMask. Remember that? Boom, you could add it. Amazing transaction. How much do I have? Got 29. But perfect. Okay. So I don't know if I should show you guys how to bridge back, but it's pretty easy, right? So let's say you want to bridge back the tokens. Just PULSECHAIN bridge. So let's say I want to bridge back. Well, then I would go here, choose which tokens I want to bridge back. I want to take my ETH and I want to bridge it back. Well, it's going to cost me same fees, and then I got to go bridge it back. Okay, so when you do bridge back, it's going to be a bit longer. It's different. There's going to be there's going to be different ways to do it. I'm going to go ahead and I don't even have that much, so I won't do it. Fuck it. So let's go ahead and start staking. I'll show you guys the staking, just a couple of staking places where you could stake, different ways you could stake. So let's first go with the most obvious one, which is go.hex.com. Next one we're going to go is when you go on hex.com links, you're going to have your front ends, right? We're on the go.hex.com. You have the app hex.win, which works with the testnet also. We'll use that one. And remember, you could always stake on your staker app on the real hex, right? You could always stake with your Gnosis safe. You could also go ahead and stake with your on go.tshare.app. I don't know, does it work? Is it working? I don't think it works. No, I don't think it's working on the testnet. Okay, so wonderful. So we got this, and then we got the last one, which is going to be hedron.pro. So let's first start on the original one, in my opinion. The app.hex.win is pretty cool. You could go ahead and, select your wallet, click it. You could start a stake. It doesn't give you as much info, but you could still do it because I had done it, right? I had already created one for the last, my last video, which I tried to do for testing in the testnet. It had worked, which is wonderful. You could always go, guys, on, I'll just go on the one that the community made, hsiwatch.com. You could go on hsiwatch.com, which you could, check out all your HSIs, all your actual stakes. So I don't know why this is always taking forever, man. Perfect. So let's put in our address. Search. It's gonna tell us. Look at that. We got a stake with 4.56 B shares. It's a 555. It's gonna end on the 6th of 6 on 2037. Wow. Hopefully one day we'll claim that on the testnet. We'll see. So let's go ahead and make another one, right? So we could go on go.hex. Oh, actually, I want to show you guys a tool made by the community actually while we're doing this, since it's possible. So let's go on hex.com. If you want to make your hex go.hex.com much cleaner and you want to take out all the tabs that you don't currently use, you could add customhex.com. This is at your own risk. It's created by, he says here, offered by Vbohu, which is Victor. So you could add this to your MetaMask. You click it, it comes right here. You have it. You could choose to go to go.x.com. Brings you straight there. And once you're here, it allows you to new design. Boom. Nice, clean, and clear. How clean is that, guys? I find that so fucking clean. That's fucking awesome. So this is what's fucking cool. So I did the stake on app.hex.win, and we see it here in the go.hex.com. So let's go ahead and make another one, right? Well, let's make a stake just to show you guys. I know you guys know how to do this. You guys should know how to do this. We take whatever we want. We take the length. We go for a 555, right? I am currently getting 0.001 T shares. Wrong, you're not getting that. You're actually getting 0.001416544295 T shares. Let me zoom in so you guys can see that. You're not really getting 0.1. This is how you check and see if you're how many T shares you're actually getting, guys. Remember that? So that's what's really important, is how much you're actually getting. You could always hover over and you could show exactly how much T shares you're actually getting. That's what's fucking awesome. This is why I personally say T shares are going to die, and it will be B shares that will take over. It's the new heir of the throne. I think it's cooler to say you could buy 1,000 B shares than saying I could get a T share. I don't know. Just food for thought. We're gonna have to say it one day. Might as well start saying it now, right, guys? So
I'm already
I don't know.
practicing my M share.
I am sure. I can't wait, man. But it's B shares right now, So, unfortunately, plebs have to buy B shares. So that's the way it works. So, guys, that's one way to do it, right? So I want to actually keep the money. Keep the hex, because I want to show you guys the Hedron app, right? So we're gonna go on Hedron. Now we're gonna mint our stakes, right? So here I have already done an HSI. As you see here, it's unlocked. So what I would need to do, guys, as you didn't see it in my wallet in the HSI watch, remember, you have to come here in stake info, and you need to copy this instance, this address, and you go into HSI watch, click the address in, search, boom, there's the HSI. That's very important, guys. You have to understand that, right? So when you go on Hedron, you go in actions, you click stake info, you get all your options here, stake info, and then your stake info, it brings you to the information. So let's go ahead and create a stake. So I've already approved. Usually would have to approve your hex here. So it costs you a transaction. How much did we have? 20. So let's put 25. Stake length. Honestly, because I think it's, let's do 20 days. So let's stake the hex. And no, I don't want you guys to do 20-day stakes. I hope you have enough money to do that, but I don't want you guys to do that. I'm just doing it because in 20 days, we might be able to come back and claim it and do whatever, or GERT account it and see what happens after. So we're going to go ahead and confirm that. So boom, we got our instance. It's pending. So we would have to wait until tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Currently, I can end the stake, borrow, mint it. I could do whatever I want. I would only have 23.86 each. I'm sorry, guys. I'm dying of laughter. That gives you 1.2 B shares. Oh man, imagine this actually changes someone's life, though. That would be so fucking cool, guys.
It would be insane.
That would be insane. Like now we're looking at this, like holy shit,
It would be.
1.2 B. Imagine if this 1.2 B shares one day changes someone's life. Fell asleep, woke up to the show, is still crushing it. Let's
Well,
go,
Orange
Orca.
Pie, real quick, let me start answering questions, interacting in the chat, because while my man Hex to Learn is doing his absolute thingy thing, I can just interact with the chat, which is absolutely.
Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
So Orange Pie says, what's a good stake length? I want to say a couple things on that. One, it depends on how old you are, how much money you have, how much responsibility you have, and how much you're willing to lose, and how much you're willing to go to bed with. So there's many factors in that. But I always say, as someone who's kind of new, turtle and below, longer pays better, dude. Like 11, my staked average is 11 years. And I keep 25% liquid. So that's kind of my strategy. But whenever I stake something, I plan on staking it for a while, because now I have the added benefit of getting Hedron minted for every B share times days served, which is the added icing on the cake for me to go long. So if you have another follow-up question on that, feel free to ask it. Jamie Cameron, nice to see you. Ice Scales, first time in here. Nice to see you. I haven't seen that name yet. Appreciate you. George Gruber, this is why staying up late is great. You get all the night owls that you haven't met yet. All the night owls, all the famouses out there that lurk into the night. Luckily, GRC's got some more wind in the tank. Do we think the most liquid thing that gets bridged is the USDC? What do you think about that? I don't know the answer to that. Let me look for Space Elevator Radio. Very cool profile picture. Very cool. I'd like to actually, if you could send me that profile picture for a thumbnail, I'd like that one. That one looks cool, and it would fit into a lot of them because the bottom of his face is cut off, which sometimes that's the only place you can fit in. Get a Slim Jim. Okay, I caught up on chat. Wonderful.
Awesome, guys. So I don't think there's any liquidations available. So I wouldn't be able to show any examples about that. But should I just borrow this? You know what? I'm going to borrow it. No, wait. I'm not. You see, guys, the difference? I'm not getting my 8x.
7x bonus now.
No, but you see, look. Oh, no, I would get it. No, I would get my amount. I would get. Never mind. It's my principal, which is 59.
Guys, if you're in here, smash the.
Does someone wanna clip this?
I will clip it. What's the time? 2:57:34.
You know, I'm gonna send you. I'll just clip the screen. Give me a second.
Yeah, I would love you to make a clip right here that we could bounce around.
I'll send it to you. I got that. Oh, fuck. So you would borrow. So advantages. I don't know if people could read it. Never mind. Acknowledge. Can I make this bigger? So you will be expected to make one payment with an estimated payout amount of. What? Oh, I chose the wrong one, guys. Give me a second. Borrow. So you will be expected to make 34 payments with an estimated payment amount of 60.48 hedron. Payments are due every 30 hedron days starting from the day advance of creation. Each payment will be compromised with the following principle, and the amount's estimated premium rate is 1.56%. So I would pay 1 hedron in premium off of that. Your final payment. Fuck it, guys. I'm going degen. I'm going degen mode, guys. Fuck it. Yeah. Yeah. I just went degen mode. Yeah. Degen mode. Yeah. 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 I just went into GTA and shot a cop. Basically, that's what I did. It's hilarious. So we borrowed all the hedron. Yeah. Let's see if we have it in our wallet. Yeah, we do, man. Yo, man, that's cool, man. Yeah, man. Yo, let's go degen and sell this, man. Yeah, let's go buy some PulseX, man. Yeah, dude. Let's go. Let's go leverage it. I'm not gonna say it. Let's go see how much this costs in Hex. Oh, fuck. It's worth 28 cents. Oh, shit. Guys, I just degens for 28 cents. Orca. If you want sharp plays, I could hook it up. Let's go, Orca. Can I put this much hedron? 28
What does that
cents?
mean, sharp? What if that means sharp play?
If you want sharp plays, what do you mean sharp plays?
Oh, you just mean like a nice play.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you got the hookup on, Orca? I want to. What's the ape coin play? Hello, good people. Hope everyone is having a great day.
Let's see if we could buy Saitama. No, let's see if we could. Let's see. If we
You
buy
can.
Saitama.
I've seen it on there. There's a couple other fucking wrecked ass coins on there.
Okay, what exchanges have coins? Right? There's BNB, nothing.
Avalanche.
Avalanche doesn't have an exchange. There's Kraken doesn't have a token. Well, FTT, no thing.
FTX, yeah.
GT.
To ape or not to ape? What you always ape in. Always ape in.
Only CRO guys. You look it up, man. It's the only one with the fucking logo.
Time in the market beats timing in the market.
Always, man. Always, man.
Ape all your money in now.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Everyone is having a great day except the BTC bros RH bodied earlier. I agree with that. Those guys are absolutely wrecked, Chad Donner Schwans. Everybody, if you haven't already, share this out. Let people know we're playing with the testnet. We're taking live questions. Live questions, anything, we can hook you up probably. I mean, if it's a stupid question, we're just going to ignore it. But if it's a good question that's insightful and people could be helped by it, we'll dive into it deep. I'm not afraid to stay up for another hour, guys. We are degenning so hard until I get 1K subs. Like, we are just degenning. It's just the way it is. It's just my breed. So smash the sub, smash the like. GRC, it wants 1K subs, but we want to provide absolute value along the way. So if anyone has any questions, if anyone has any comments, if anyone would like us to cover anything, let us know. My boy Hex to Learn hitting the effing testnet.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So then let's go ahead and buy some. What was I gonna buy? Oh yeah, I needed some. Oh, fuck, that's fuck all, man. Jesus. It's nothing, guys. It's nothing. Look at that. $26. It's fuck all. It's nothing, man. Hopefully it's nothing. Imagine ETH is worth like $1 million on the other side. That'd be hilarious. No? So the USDC to our wallet. Remember, guys, you could always do that. This is just so easy. Just do a transaction and it adds it to your wallet. Do I even have $25 worth of Pulse? Yeah, I do. No, I have to provide liquidity, guys. You could go here, click liquidity, boom, 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 boom. Oh shit. Oh, I had just enough. I had just enough. So let's fuck it. Let's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Always remember to add shit. You gotta add it. Remember at the bottom, it always tells you if you have it or not. So we do have it. Perfect. Oops, a daisy. What do you mean I don't have the token? I just got the token, man. Oh, there you go. Guys, look how smooth this is. Like, where did you see anything? I'm aping and testing it right now. Go ahead, man. I just check. If you need, man, listen. Also, create a profile, guys. If you need to, you could just come here. Look, and if you're in Chrome or in Brave, it's the same thing, right? So if you're in Chrome, you could come here. You click at the bottom, add profile. When you add your profile, you could sign in and you could go create a burner email. And you should technically, you guys should create a burner email, guys, to do anything on the internet with your burner email, so you could be a troll. All right, a troll is very mentally therapeutic, so I suggest it. Then you could continue without an account and just be a normal pleb. You know, it's up to you. So yeah, and you could add the account, and you could always have different MetaMasks, right? So like, let's say I come here, I would create it, make an account, call it pleb, pleb, whatever. And then I would click done. It would create it, and I wouldn't have the MetaMask in here, right? Oh, you don't see it. Fuck. Ah, shit, you don't see it. But and the new thing, you wouldn't see it, guys. Shit, you don't see it. I only did the window. Oh, my bad. But anyways, if you were to add a profile, you wouldn't see it. All right, guys. So we'll come back and test this out. We'll let this play for a couple of days and see how much money we make. So remember that $68 and $74. Oh, Jim Rat, how's the videos?
Sorry. Let me sit up real quick.
Next one, 10,000X is a CEL. What is that?
I was just joking.
You're being serious. It's
Celsius.
Wow.
I sold the Celsius top at $8.
Some rich ass noobs. I can guarantee you that will be.
I sold Celsius at $8.04. I want everyone to know that.
I think everyone got Celsius for free if they did the Coinbase thing. I got Celsius for free. I got like $10 worth.
Celsius is a shithole. 681 subscribers. That's 100 more than yesterday, guys. Thank you so much for the support. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe. We are going big. You know, I'm doing my thing. I'm trying my hardest. Trying my freaking best. A little bit tired around these hours, but the more I look at the testnet, the better, in my opinion, because I usually only play around with it in the morning myself, but I got to get repetitions doing stuff at night because crypto does not sleep. As we all know, crypto does not sleep.
It doesn't. Neither do we.
I sleep.
No, you don't. Don't lie. Don't lie. We know what you do when you leave.
I sleep. I go to my bed. I turn all the lights off.
You put people to sleep. Don't lie. Hitman. That's a wig on. We know it. So yeah, guys, it's a bunch of cool things you could get. Quick shill. Quick shill for those who want to read a book. Quick shill. So whoever wants to read Richard Hart's book, I started reading it. It's fucking awesome. I made an app with the audio. Shouts out to the people that provided.
Wait, you have the audio book?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Shouts out to the people that put it on YouTube. I hope Richard doesn't get pissed. I couldn't. I will give a fuck if he says something, but I couldn't give a fuck. So you come on the website, guys. There's the app. You could scan it right now. There's the book, so you have the chapters. You come. You could listen to it straight from YouTube on the app. You have the Google PDF. You could read it on the internet where archive. So you could listen to it here, audio. You have the book. Then you also have the second book, which I provided at the end. So chapter 11, which, well, there's longevity, and then there's the Fix the World book too. So this one's, unfortunately, it's only in Google. You only have it on as the PDF. So yeah, guys, if you guys want to go ahead and read the book, quick little shield, I made it. Enjoy it. Scan that shit.
Yeah, do all that shit. That is a great book. I've listened to it 3 or 4 times. I've listened to a couple chapters more than.
And when you listen to it, please go follow and subscribe to that channel that provides us with the audio book. Shouts out to them.
Yeah, they're great. And that's the original I watched on the YouTube.
Yeah, shouts out to them.
Shouts out to them. Very dope. Yeah, Famous is the real deal, guys. Famous doesn't play around. He has a lot of resources. He's trying to do his part as far as the shit he's good at, making fucking websites, fucking around, doing computer nerdy shit that I know nothing about. But it's good shit. It always is good shit. It's always compact, looks good. Good resources, always right in your face.
And you gotta check, guys.
The app Hex to Learn.
The app is this, guys. If you guys want to go check it out, I'll just type it in right now.
This is a very good onboarding tool.
Yeah, and if you want the Hex to Learn app, it's literally you just replace the sci-fi with Hex to Learn.
Yes.
So hextolearn.glideapp.com.io. And then it brings you to, and you could and by the way, guys, you could, if you're on the PC, you could access the app, right? So this is easy for people. If you're at their house or anything, you just say, yo, look, check this ad up, and they're like, I don't want to take this app. Oh, well, go check it out. Oh shit! Shouts out to that shield. So yeah, guys, you could come on this one. This is the basic app that you could have your on board or anyone just play around with for a couple of days. We have the live Twitter. We have it live, so if you want to follow with us right now, that it's going on. It's a Ponzi. You see? So yeah, guys, you could come here and check it out. It's pretty cool. You have the in-app chats. So any Mexican who has the app could get it. You have the sci-fi app here, so go ahead and scan this QR code. So it's basically in between each other. So yeah, hope you guys like that. And if I'm not mistaken, I forget where I put it on. Where did I put it on the website? I think I put it in Richard's tab. So if we were to go on Richard's tab, yeah, sci-fi book here, you could go ahead and click the link, free ebook, and you could download the app. Yep. Yo, this should have changed, man. Richard, was Richard streaming on his thing today?
Yes, he was.
Why the fuck didn't this fucking thing change? It's supposed to change, man.
It's supposed to change automatically with this latest update of YouTube.
Yeah, it's supposed to change this fucking thing, motherfucker. Anyways,
well, let's go to his and make sure it's even up.
Well, shouts out to the guys on Spotify. They fixed it, so they have the Richard Hart Zavetsky debate. You can go on Spotify right now. And follow the podcast. Go ahead and do that. Shouts out to the community member that did that also. It's available on the website or on the front page. So you have it on the front page here, guys. You guys could also fucking be goofballs and go ahead and scan this. Oh, there's Mr. Wonderful talking in the Twitter space. So yeah, guys, you could go ahead. If you guys have people with different languages, remember Hex to Learn comes in, I think there's fucking a lot of languages. I think there's like 60 different ones. So if you're Italian like me, man, you could go ahead and you tell your people come here and they could read it, and the languages will change in any language you want. So it might not make sense, but at least it's better than nothing, right? So we technically have the chance to send people, Netherlands. I don't even know if this makes sense. So It's Google Translate, so there's no excuse for people to, even Greek fuck. There's no excuse for people not to come on this and say, "Oh, I don't know where to go" or whatever. It's automatically translate everything. Oh shit! Now what do I do? Where's English? English, perfect. So yeah, guys, that's pretty cool. Hope everyone appreciates it. Go follow. It's free. Yeah.
It's free. That's all we can say about it.
Link tree. You could also put this. There's the links all here, man. Just check it out. Go check it out. Easy shit, man. Easy work. Easy money.
We've been on for 3 hours and 14 minutes.
It's amazing, man. How does it feel?
Pretty good.
How's it feel? It feels good, no?
Oh, yeah.
How does the chat? What is the chat? Did the chat appreciate it? Give us your feedback. Please let us know.
Is there anything you guys want to see? Is there anything you guys want to know? Is there anything you guys would like to cover in a future episode? Just let us know in the chat right this moment. Any kind of suggestions, any kind of what's Gucci's, any kind of, if you have never commented before, give us a comment. Let us know what's Gucci. Hit the subscribe and the like button, guys. We're just going absolute degen until I get 1K subs, and then we're going to keep it a little more scheduled. But I am a degen at heart, and I will degen out until I get what I want or go broke. Trying. SpongeBob SquarePants. Keep killing it. Beam D Staking Pulse X just arrived. Ooh, what do you mean just arrived? Oh, he just arrived. Staking Pulse X. I see. Staking Pulse X just arrived. IB19. Give me a follow. Give me a subscribe. I'll be covering this shit on the daily. Make sure you stick in here. But my boy's doing it right now.
What is he? What's his question, man? Patrick wants to know.
Single-sided staking PLSX.
Okay, so let's go do that for the boy. All right, boy. So we're gonna go ahead and trade. What are you gonna trade? Let's trade the rest of our hex. So remember, guys, if you never enable the transactions, right? If you never enable the transactions, you're always gonna have to. Now, these enables on the other decks is what causes you to get hacked. So what you need to do, you know what? I should show that to people too, just so they could know. Whoa. What the fuck? To confirm. Perfect. We'll confirm this. I'll do the single staking for the guy, and then I'll show it after. So right now we're gonna swap. Confirm swap.
I need to train Sam to be the smartest man in the Hex community. We're training him up.
100%.
Because he's so good with the info, but we all have so much info. He's really good at digesting it. I was just thinking about it because who are the main sources of info in the Hex community? Like, who are the top guys? There's a couple guys that definitely have most of the info locked in and people go to. And we're developing into that as I get more clear and more certain. We're going to be on the cutting fucking edge of this test net up until the day it launches, up until the moments we're switching over. We are going to be fucking here and locked in. We're going to be making millions of fucking dollars.
Let's go.
Let's fucking go, fam. Biceps in the chat.
Go.
If you're in here, throw up a bicep. It's a late night bicep.
So, shouts out to the boy. So we're going to go ahead and earn and on the pools, man. So on this pool, it's going to be very simple, man. You're going to click plus if you're not in. If not, you're going to click approve, enable pool. Then you're going to just stake like this. Click max. Confirm. Confirm. Oh, you guys can't even see the confirm. Shit, my bad.
I asked about the party token like 100 times in his stream. I was freaking begging for anything about the incentive token.
Oh, yeah, because they're afraid to get the blockaroni.
Any game theory on the incentive token, Richard, would be very nice. I know you're stream sniping right now. because we got the alpha.
Guys, you guys don't understand, how it works. This pool right here is a random fucking pool. Random. Okay? Let me show you guys. So just to get everyone who doesn't understand. The ones who understand are going to die of laughter. But if you don't understand, this is what it is. Okay? I'm just going to show it to you. Because Richard's going to give you the blockaroni, man. He's going to do it.
87 likes, guys. Get it to 90 real quick. Get it to 90.
I'm sorry.
Likes.
Question is stupid. It's you didn't do enough researching. And I'm sorry if you're not, you're new. It's okay. But to Richard, it's a stupid question. So you come here on the farms, right? Oh, no, not on the farms. I don't know why I click. You click on the pools, right? So these two, you know what? Let me take a screenshot right now so people could understand this. Oh, why is it doing like this? Give me a second.
Yes, sir.
Go. So, guys, forget about these pools. Forget about this. Forget about it. This is not what the pool is. It was at the beginning for like 2 days. Now, the pools that is there, the PRT, is these pools, right? And the PRT token is this mother. Oh, shit, it's too thick. The PRT is this guy right here. It's the token that you earn in the pool, right? It's a third-party token. So you stake the incentive token, which is going to be this. So, right? So on the normal, there's going to be another staking thing that's probably going to give us this. It's probably going to give us this automatic staking or manually staking. There was a manual staker that allowed you to have the manual option, but it didn't. It was giving you PRT, which is normal because they wanted to test out the pool. But right now they're making us test out this type of tool, not these ones. We're not testing these ones. So the token we're receiving is not an incentive. The token we're receiving is the token that's provided in the IFO pool for providing the incentive token. And it so happens to be, okay, now when you look at it, you put cake, right, to stake cake. So it's cake that's provided to receive as an incentive cake because cake is the incentive token of the whole ecosystem, right? So when you come here, what do you earn? Cake earned. You earn cake. When you come here, what do you earn? Cake. In the pools, same shit. What do you earn? Cake. But you see the manual, this manual thing was at the bottom of the Hex app. Where is it? In here in the details, it used to be here, right here. It used to say it. And I know Hexy was there. She saw it. So you used to have this. So they did test this out. Now they're not testing that out. Now they're providing you a random one that has an end stake. You see? Look. Ends in that many blocks. You see, it has a time. And it has view contract, view token info, view the project site. You know, understand? It has the same shit. How many blocks? Token info, contract. Remember, guys, it's not what you think it is. It's the other thing. Just if I don't know if that helps people understand, but yeah. You guys hear me? You hear me? Yeah, I
Yes,
hear
sir.
you. You're mute. Chill. Yeah, what's up, Gen Hex?
How you be? That's a cool ass symbol, Gen Hex, that you got on your profile pic.
That is dope.
It would look good on a shield.
It would at that G2, man. I like the G2, man. I like that. So any other questions, guys? Any specific ones? I hope I answered your question, by the way. I don't know who it was. Oh, Astro. For a while, it was ruling the DeFi, man. It's like people were getting that for fuck all. Like, let's go check it out.
Peace out, Hexagrapher.
Peace out, man.
Thanks for staying with me so long. You're the man. Spends 90% of his day with GRC.
Let's fucking go.
It beat Uniswap in volume for almost a week. Yeah, I was around when that was occurring, kind of. But I wasn't paying attention to volume, that's for sure.
I was in here, man. And I had sold it when it was like here. I was making all kinds in here, and I sold it all in here.
Crypto, baby.
Look at that. Look at this plebness. Look at that.
There.
Look at that pleb. Look how pleb I feel. Look at this. Look at it. I didn't even reach to here. I went like up to here, which is like 6. No, I'm sorry. Up to like here. Guys, this is why you delay gratification. Look at this. Look at this fucking thing, man. It gets me so mad. It went up to $42. I would have staking it in cents. Fuck. And there was even before this, because this was just when it went on, like there was even before. So yeah, man. Don't sell your fucking tokens, guys. Don't be the pleb. Because technically right now, if I went to sold, I would have been made more money. Look at that. Would have fucking. This shit was consistent, man. Look at that. See, this was still a good.
Beautiful chart.
Well, for something that's been giving you money at like 200% per year, and it started in 2 years ago, pretty fucking good. Yes, Bob. Best new crypto show. Fucking like, retweet, follow. That's it. Well, what retweet? I'm so fucking tired, man. Retweet that. Retweet, guys.
We're degenning. I'm degenning until I get to 1K subs. I don't care what it takes. I'm degenning. I just like the fucking number just as like a milestone, and everyone knows it.
Thanks, Cryptograph. Shouts outs to everyone holding it down in the spaces, man. Hex is the way. Hexy. I see Hex Turtle. I see everyone there. Shouts out to everybody. Josh Soleil. Shouts out to everyone holding it down in the Twitter spaces lately, man. If you guys want, come check it out. Guys got nothing to do. We actually are live 24/7, and we answer questions like in YouTube 24/7. You know, we just wanted to come on YouTube and take over the fucking game. You feel me? Shouts out to Crypto Jim Rat.
All right, guys. I think it's time we get going. Get back to the spaces. Do what we do best. Nutrition and sleeping in. Guys, thank you so much for staying with me today. You guys are so freaking awesome. If you haven't already, please smash the sub. Please smash the like. Jim Rat Crypto, Hex to Learn. I'm coming at you every single day until Richard comes on the stream. That's when I'll take a break. The day after that, I'll take a break the day after Richard comes on. So Richard, give your boy a break. Come on the show. We are picking apart crypto. Oh, what's up, Blaine One? I don't think I've ever seen you in here. Good to see you. Put the biceps in the chat. Guys, we're coming at you live. I'm asleep and come right back at it with studying, asking Sam questions, keep fucking around with the test net, your most up-to-date crypto news, latest DeFi technology, the greatest yield, the most innovative minds in crypto today, hexagons, pulse chain lovers. Let's go, guys. Have a great day.